Hello, everyone, and welcome to Testing Grounds, where we showcase off relatively new games here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. This is actually the last night that this is going to be on Friday night. We're going to be moving to every other Tuesday for my shows, Testing Grounds and Game Masters, starting next month in September. But as we get started here, I want to remind everyone, if you missed out on any Flame Fatales runs, you can check out our archive of past runs and shows at youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. If you're not watching us live and you're actually on YouTube right now, feel free to join us over at twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to check out our live shows. It starts most nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. If you have an Amazon Prime account, remember you have Prime Gaming. You can use that to subscribe to any Twitch channel of your choice every month for free. Consider using your Prime Gaming account to subscribe to the GDQ Twitch channel. But with that, I am joined by Minfin here as we're going to be watching Kaze and the Wild Masks Any Percent. How are you doing, Minfin? I am not doing bad either. I have actually played a little bit of this game before, but I do have a question for you. What made you want to run this game?
How about yourself? I remember playing that. And it was fun. And then they had time trial Donkey Kong style thing, and I do remember playing that a long time ago. So I was like, I'll give it a shot, and it was fun. And then they had time trial modes, and then that just completely bit the speedrunning mug for it, because like, they have an in-game time for go to fast. Now I just got to do the whole game fast.
That was very, very cool. So what are we going to be seeing here? We're going to be seeing Any Percent.
So Any Percent category is actually broken up in a couple things. So there's original mode and casual mode. So original is you have 2 hits. There's 1 checkpoint in everything for any of the levels except for the bosses. You restart those, and then that's it. In casual mode, it's essentially the same thing, but there's 3 main differences. Sorry, you have 3 hit points instead of 2. There are extra hidden checkpoints depending on where you're at through the level. You don't actually cross them, but if you die at a certain point, you'll just respawn closer to where you died instead of the checkpoint. And then if you die in a level 8 times, you have the option of just flat skipping it. So the casual Any Percent actually has 2 different categories. There's casual mode and casual mode no level skips. I'm doing the casual no level skips. So if we happen to die 8 times, which I hope doesn't happen, I won't be skipping the level. I'll keep going until I beat it.
Sounds good. So I'm excited for this run. Feel free to, get ready whenever you're ready. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so time on the game always starts as soon as we select the mode type. So we'll be going here in just a moment. So we're gonna go ahead and count it down at 3, 2, 1, and let's go.
Good luck.
Now, throughout this game, there are various cutscenes and stuff. So we're going to start off by saving a lot of time at the beginning, if the loading screen will ever go, by just skipping the introductory cutscene. Except there we have a little bit of cutscene for stuff. That's okay. So there are 4 main hubs in this, and they each progressively get harder. So obviously we're in hub 1, so this is going to be where it introduces a lot of things such as like how we jump, how we move, things like that through this. So first few levels are generally pretty easy, and then as they go along, we're going to get certain techniques and stuff introduced into it. So this first level, very simple. I just wish my first time loading up the game sometimes has a longer load screen, so I do apologize about load times. It's normally not that bad.
It's a good opportunity for everyone in chat to go follow twitch.tv/Minfin. I'll type that in chat if you want to just click on that.
Yeah, so anytime we're running a game, our primary form movement is this spin. Sometimes we spin jump. So there is a slight speed increase about halfway through this animation that gives us a little speed. So if we jump midway through the spin, we actually retain that momentum. And that momentum is reset as we hit monsters like that. So spinning through multiples like that gives us a little bit of a speed boost. And just like that, this game is over. Or not this game, this level. What I did at the end right there is there is a ground pound. If you're in the air, you get a slight height boost. So some ledges that are normally not attainable by a regular jump, you might actually be able to hit if you ground pound at the top of your jump. We'll be seeing that a number of times through some of these levels. There's one level later on, and I'll point that one out when we get there, but the individual level world record holder does somewhere around like 20 some odd ground pounds to save time, and it's insane. So in this level, we're introduced to little jelly pads. So I'm playing a little safe because there's some strats that are a little riskier, but I could end up in the water if I don't do it right. But if you're spinning off a ledge and you hit one of those, you automatically get a max height jump off of them, like that. And areas like that are where it's a little safer to do. And just like in Donkey Kong, we can kind of hover. I think that's Donkey Kong 2, wherever, and I cannot remember her name, the one with the blonde hair that can spin her ponytail. That's essentially what Kaze does when she floats. Now we have one little skip we can do right here, kind of go across. If we hit the, well, that did not go as planned. I did not get the jump I wanted to, or there. My controller's not doing right. Let's try this again. That's better. There we go. Dixie, thank you. Nice. I'm almost 40, so I don't remember. So that's how that's supposed to go. All right. Now that was also an example of the hidden checkpoint, because normally I'd have to go all the way back to that little crystal that we jumped in the air for if I had died. But this level introduced where the name Wild Masks come from in the title. So we are going to be introduced to our first animal mask. This is the bird mask. Each of these animal masks represents masters that have existed sometime through this land's history. So the bird one turns us into something that allows our ears to fly and stuff like that. Physics while flying are a little weird, but that's okay. Now, especially in casual mode, since we have the 3 extra hit points, we do have a couple areas we can take some additional damage boosts that we normally wouldn't in original. You won't really see them in this one, but there is one guaranteed damage boost we will be making later on in this level, because it just goes faster. And now there will be cycles in all of these levels. These cycles are not based on where you're at in the level. It's based on where you're at in relation to them on the screen. So if you haven't come across to them, they haven't started moving until they're almost on the screen. So it's hard for you to miss a cycle as long as you're going the way you should, because nothing's ever going to be firing before or moving before it should. So that does make cycle-based levels pretty easy. Ending screens.
One of the things that you mentioned, you're talking about your controller. So, you know, you are playing this on PC, right? Is there a benefit to using controller over something like keyboard, mouse?
For me, it's easier because I have slight issues with carpal tunnel. So me playing on a keyboard is not very conducive to me. If you are good at keyboard mouse setups versus controllers, go right ahead. There is no inherent benefit to that. I just play on a PS5 controller because it's bigger for my hands. What? Okay. So that's not supposed to what's happening here. So I did get the skip where you bounce off of him and you can use the ground pound to get up there, but then I fell off the ladder. So that's not supposed to happen. I saw someone in chat earlier say marathon lock, and that is very much the case.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. I mean, if I ever like PB in a marathon, I'm shocked. So this level is largely just trying to avoid things as best as possible. You're climbing ladders, use your ears to climb on vines, and generally try not to die. So there are cycles and weird hitboxes where you can float right underneath those artichokes and not get hit, even though your ears are going right through them. Now, I did take an extra hit somewhere I didn't want. Normally, I would damage boost through here. I'm going to play this a little slow so I don't die. And we're good.
Loving all these food-based enemies here.
Oh yeah, it's essentially the story is like in the past there was a another bunny like Kaze that was kind of like a mystic elder, and she had. If you've seen Kung Fu Panda, it's going to be a kind of a similar thing. So there was this apprentice who let power get to their head, and they killed the mentor, took their staff, and caused all of these veggies and fruits to come alive evilly. And when I first saw that, I instantly thought of Commander Keen and one of the games there, because nightmare world with living evil vegetables. But yeah, so we're fighting them, and at the end of the game, they all go back to being normal. Spoiler alert, we beat the evil person, but that should be a given. But I like how it's not just vegetables. We got dragon fruit porcupines, we got crabby pineapples, we got tomatoes, we'll see beets, and we've already seen carrots, so it's a cute mentality, so it's nothing too serious, but it's a fun game. Intended damage boost. Now, this level has a mechanic we will see come back once or twice, 2 more times throughout the game, but it's a light and dark theme, so there are certain enemies that do not like light, and they work in the dark. So obviously we want to hit as many of those blue things as possible. We don't have to hit them all. And now, we're coming up to Bean Bait. This is where we will find our second mask. It's a shark mask. Excuse me. So this is where we are going to be swimming underwater a lot. Now the water has an interesting mechanic. If you are not right above the water, you'll do that dunk I did, and if you are hovering right before you hit the water, you'll just do that. So there's various areas where we kind of manipulate what we're doing so that we can just go through. Taking an intended damage boost there. And now we're the shark. Now, during this part of the level, I stopped using my D-pad because it's just easier to maneuver with the stick, but generally when we speedrun these, you can swim at a normal speed, but you can hold the jump button to swim fast, and the spin button is doing what I'm doing right here. So we're just basically dashing through everything underwater. Now, I know I made a brief quip about ending screens earlier, and I'm running into a lot of those purple gems. So at the end of a level, it will tally up all of your purple gems and any yellow letters or bonus level tokens, which you will never see in this. So the less of those we collect, the better. Also, hitboxes are great. Swim right through those, save some time. So we want to reduce the number of those so that way we're spending less time on the ending screens. Some levels, you can't help it. You will run into things that will slow it down.
But your name is Minfin, so you go right through everything.
Oh, absolutely.
With your fin.
Yeah, I'm as minimal as possible.
Yes.
All right, so here we are with our first boss. This is Mother Mona, the giant artichoke. So ideally, what we would do is we would dodge some things, and partway through the level, we would jump up on these things to bop her on her head, and you'll see where that is in a moment. But there are ways to get around that, because we don't have time to wait for things to go out for us to jump on and things like that. We're speedrunners. We do things the fast way. Unfortunately, fortunately, all the bosses are scripted. Unfortunately, outside of like a couple where you can get things in early, there's not a way to really speed them up. See, we ain't got time to jump on those. And that right there is one difference in the boss levels on casual versus original, is that every phase 2 you will get a heart that spawns from somewhere. That way, if you're taking damage and you're just playing this for fun, you can stay alive. Because there's nothing worse than being on the last phase of one of these bosses and you have to restart it because you died. Or you do something like that. I jumped too early. So on any of the bosses, if they hit you while they're on the screen, you repeat that phase. I jumped a little too early. And for safety reasons, because I took damage there that I wasn't intending, I'm going to have to do it the slow way on phase 3, because I don't feel like redoing the whole boss. But with the bosses all being scripted, you know what's going to happen, so it's just a matter of memorizing each of the boss fights. But this one's usually the easiest. Standing right here is always safe. We're just gonna go here. We're gonna play it even safer. And bop. She's gone. Now, I hope it doesn't do what it does sometimes. Okay. Every now and then, and it may have been patched out, I haven't noticed it, but sometimes the game will crash on Mona's cutscene. And I've had that happen in a marathon once, and I have to restart the game. But it saves my stuff, so that would have been a slight delay. But it didn't happen. We're good. That's Hub 1. Now, Hub 2 introduces us to ice. We all love ice, right? And ice physics and the lack of being able to slow down, right?
It's pretty cool, I'd say.
Yeah. And we also get wind, but those levels are kind of breezy too. All right, so this level's going to introduce us to a different kind of carrot. They bobsled at us, so we just got to avoid them. But a lot of this is we are going to be spinning off of edges to help with timing. One thing I didn't mention about the spin is as long as you're in your spin animation, if you're in mid-air, you'll be able to jump like I did at the end of one of those right there. So it actually helps extend some of our reach to just be able to go through and spin off a ledge and jump. So it's a pretty neat thing. It's not quite coyote frames, it's just we're taking advantage of a remaining animation to allow us to jump, because as long as we're in the spin animation, it thinks we're on solid ground, so we can jump. And we're almost done with this level. And that's it. A lot of these levels are relatively short. There's only one level that's kind of long because it's an auto-scroller. So auto-scrollers are always fun. We won't see that until a couple hubs down the road, so. But there are ways to kind of help shorten that one up. This level's all about timing, because instead of the barrels in Donkey Kong Country, we got slingshots. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people in chat comparing this to Donkey Kong Country. This DKC was the biggest inspiration for the developers of this game. They loved retro style games, and Donkey Kong Country was very influential to their design of the game. So there's going to be a lot of similarities. And so now we got, I forget which barrels those were, but yeah, you can kind of wait on those and they'll go through. But we don't hit every crossbow in here, nor do we wait for them to move all the time. We skip them when we need to. Sometimes we got to wait on that timing. I almost thought I missed that. We will damage boost through these all day long. Just skip a couple of those that way. And there we go. That's the end of that one. Yeah, this is yeah, there are the Kaze coins that are through there. We try to avoid those because those have the longest time at the end of the level. But I've been working on an any percent like Kaze collection thing. So it's something that no one else has really run, so it's not really a thing, but I have kept it on for marathon incentives sometimes. But this is another cycle-based level, but we skip a lot of them. Just like that, we just spin right through. We don't need to worry about those things falling. This level is going to introduce us to our third mask, and my personal favorite, the Tiger Mask. With the Tiger Mask, we go zooming. And you'll see why here in just a minute. We dash. And every time we land on the ground or land on an enemy, that dash is refreshed. Or when we're dashing through someone. And so we want to basically be dashing all the time, if at all possible, because walking is slow. And who cares about damage? Because, well, one cool thing is I know I've got a checkpoint coming up here, and there is always a heart after a checkpoint. Never fails, doesn't matter whether you're in original or casual, there's always that heart. So you can always plan your damage boosts around that. And oh. And oh, all right. I'm getting a little ahead of myself because I want to save the damage for this part because we're just going to go through here. We don't need those stinking platforms.
Those are optional.
Yeah, absolutely. We have health. Health is always a resource in a speedrun. All right. Now we're coming up to Ropes of Hope. This is a lot of waiting cycles. Not one of my favorite levels, but I'm bound and determined to find a way to break this in casual because there are areas where you can just spin along really, really fast and just take one damage boost, and it might make the level faster, but I haven't, like, routed it out yet. Because if you don't do it right, you'll just die. Now, this is one of those levels where knowing your cycles and when they activate is very important because this entire level is you're waiting on cycles. So there's going to be a lot of adjusting where I'm at and trying to stay in certain spots to avoid things like collecting letters. I almost missed that jump.
Now, how do cycles work in this game? Is it global or is it just when things appear on screen?
As they're about to appear on the screen is when they'll spawn. So if they can be just off the screen to where their sprite would make noise, it will start to cycle. So there isn't any global cycles, which I'm kind of glad about because that means the cycles are very, very easy to plan around because as you're coming up to it, you know exactly where that cycle's going to be.
Practice that way.
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about it's like, oh, I am like 3 seconds back on this level. The cycle's going to be like this. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. I do enough of that messenger with global cycles.
Now, speaking of the messenger, what kind of things do you like to do on your stream besides, you know, Kaze and the Wild Masks?
I speedrun a lot of retro style platformers, so there is my main one is the messenger. I've spent about 800 hours on that game, and I have like top 10% times in almost every category. Let's see, there's this. I've dabbled in Crash Team Racing speedruns and Hades speedruns, but it's mostly things like this. I am currently working on Astalon Tears of the Earth, which is a brand new Metroidvania that came out in June, I believe. I hold world record in one of the additional modes on that, and I'm working on getting a good time in on the full 90%. But if I do anything casually, it's Diablo 3, but mostly I speedrun, and speedrun some more. I have TGH and like watching a bunch of Games Done Quick stuff to thank for that. It is a Brazilian game. It's I want to say the programming studio is Pixel Hive and it's produced by Sedesco. Or yeah. So, ow! I did not want that one. I don't want. Hitboxes are fun. I'm just flying through everything. But as long as I got the one health, I'm fine to the end of this one. But I'm actually at the end of this level already because we got wind with the bird mask and it's just putting us along and we just slide through here. Done. But Yeah, I do a lot of speedrunning because I don't know what caused it, because I started streaming just to do casual things, and then I started speedrunning, and I haven't stopped.
You know, that happens.
Yeah. I'm just now finding myself going into the mentality of how do I make this dream faster once I beat it. All right, now we are into the fourth mask. You guys remember the minecart levels from Donkey Kong, right? Well, the lizard mask levels are the same thing. I don't press any directions, it's automated, and I literally jump and ground pound, and that's it. So there's not a whole lot to describe on this level other than jump up, like do a lot of micro hops because you do move faster in the air, and try to run down slopes and jump up slopes. Other than that, there's really nothing exciting about this one.
But you know, you were telling me before we started the stream here something exciting you got going on this month on your stream.
Yeah. Matter of fact, so one thing I do is August is my birthday month. So instead of doing like what a lot of streamers do, where it's like, hey, it's my birthday month, I want to try to do a subathon, blah, 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 blah. Things where generally it's trying to get them money. Like, I've got a well-paying job. So it's like, I don't need to worry about things like that. So what I do is every August, I do a month-long charity event. And it's been for the same charity for the last 2 years, so this year and last year. And it's for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So even though Suicide Awareness Month is in September, I've been doing that all month, and we are currently at $400 out of $500 out of the goal. So I'm hoping to get that by the end of the month. The cool thing about this one is I'm partnering with a local restaurant that donates to a Houston-based charity through the PTSD Foundation of America. And I'm going to be buying meals as I hit certain milestones in order to get that money donated to Camp Hope, and those meals are also going to be donated to local shelters for anybody who doesn't get a special meal every now and then. So August is always a month about everyone else but me, even though it's my birthday month.
Well, thank you very much for that, and happy late birthday to you.
All right, so we are in Pumpkin Pyre. This is easily my favorite level of this hub. The wind currents are probably one of my favorite things, and every now and then there will be a slight desync, not really desync, more like a visual glitch, where if I hover, the ears won't come out. You'll hear the hover sound, but the ears will just be in the falling animation. It's funny, because it's like, I'm hovering, but my ears aren't moving. But honestly, like, when it comes down to like glitches and things, I will say they did a very good job with this game, because there's very few glitches at all in this, and it's usually just slightly like audio glitches like that or visual glitches. So it's a very well put together game. I applaud them for that. Like, I don't mind abusing glitches. I mean, that's what speedrunners do, but it's always nice when you can have a really good game that you don't have to worry about breaking every 5 minutes because you pressed the wrong button.
I was about to say, this game, you know, looks very, very polished. Do you know how big like the team was that worked on this game?
I don't know off the top of my head, and that last part did not go as planned. I do know one of the programmers is in the Speedrun Discord, which, if you guys are interested in speedrunning this, it is on speedrun.com, and I believe the Discord is linked in the side tab for it. But before I go into that, we're going to be introducing Buck. Buck's Brigade is probably my least favorite boss in the game, but it is my favorite boss music. It just reminds me a lot of, like, the boss itself. It's my least favorite because it's not very interactive, but, like, the flaming pumpkins and the music give me, like, a, metal style Nightmare Before Christmas vibe. But a lot of this is we dodge the pumpkins, we watch for the little tomato beet things coming around. As we hit 2 in each one of these, he will come off the edge of the screen, and we just pelt him without missing. You can't hit him off the side of the screen, but I'm not too great at that. And so each phase, the patterns obviously change. the cool thing is like even if you hit that guy or you don't hit him right off the bat, the patterns are always the same. So you have until it enters the screen and until it exits the screen to actually hit that red beet tomato thing. So if you miss it the first time, you have a little bit of a chance. It's not going to slow it down. So it gives you a little bit of a leeway there, but the wind adds a little bit of thing to phase 2. Phase 3 starts being like a Toho style thing to where it's like, oh, they're coming from all directions now. And we can bop on those. We don't have to hit them with the little fireball, which will actually come in handy for Buck on his third phase hit, because he moves considerably slower in that one. All right, phase 3, honestly, we're gonna hover along the bottom for a few of these, and then we're gonna hover at the top, and then preferably without getting hit. But I've always been bad at commentary and playing at the same time. Normally, like, if I was running the master, I would have a commentary come in and talk about the game while I'm playing. But the majority of the people that run this game live in vastly different time zones than what I do. So it's not as easy. Whereas in Messenger, I got a buddy of mine who literally lives a city over and he'll commentary for me all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, that was Buck. I mean, it took me the longest to get Buck down without taking damage or dying, but it is what it is. All right, so now we're going on to Toxic Tide. That's Hub 3. I mean, I try to be entertaining, but I appreciate that. Now, Toxic Tide is going to introduce another favorite thing that's like ice and stuff, and that's in a couple of these levels, we're going to have like acid and stuff that's going to come up from the bottom of the screen and chase us. So we've got those to worry about soon. But we've got another shark level coming up here. All right, and so this one has a lot of cycles going on, and in casual, we can actually make some damage boosts through those starfish in a couple of them to save some time. If we hit them right. If we don't hit them right, we get knocked back and it just loses us time. Like right here. It's actually faster to collect that A and damage boost through that thing than it is to go around and wait. So even though we're going to lose time by collecting that lead at the end of the level, health is a resource. Because we got a checkpoint here right after these guys. Hey, we're back up at 3 hit points. Look at that. Now we're going to enter a slightly dangerous portion because after this damage boost right here, we're going to be left with no other hit points and there's no other hearts for the remainder of the level. So now we just have to avoid everything that does damage. And we got a ghost fish chasing us because, well, we don't have any of those blue things chasing us. Or the blue flowers that we can run into. So we just got to avoid everything, and that's it. Once we hit this point, we're swimming too fast. Not every level is a different mask mechanic. There are only 4 masks in the game, but each time you have that mask, the level is progressively harder. So you got to take advantage of things a little differently. We will have one more shark level, one more... I think we got one more of just about all of them left to go. Now we get to zipline with our ears. I mean, we got big long ears, we got slanted ropes. Why not just have fun? This level is going to take a extreme use of jumping at the after we're off a platform after spinning, because it gives us a little extra distance, so we get to the level a little faster. It'll also help us like get underneath a fireball later, because there's going to be one that's going to come across, and we can just dip under it instead of having to wait for it. And yeah, and a lot of this is going to be patterns, but not quite. This is the fireball I was talking about. Because there we go. We're under it. Zip over here. It would seem painful, but she seems to enjoy it because she does it a lot. There's actually an entire bonus level dedicated to ziplining on vines. But we won't see that bonus level unless we're doing 100%. And that is a rather long category. So this last section is going to be a lot of hopping up and down and following certain patterns. Someone explained it like it's very much like a dance routine because we're going up and down and up and up and down and up and jump over and hover, and there we go. I guess it sounds like a dance routine, but I don't dance. Just ask my wife. She complains about it all the time. All right, so Scales Showdown. Actually, this would be a great time to point something out. So at the end of that level, I didn't have any hit points, but I started with 1 hit point at the beginning of this one. So another benefit to casual is you will always have one, the red guy following you instead of the gold one at the beginning of every level. And even if you have no hit points, a heart is worth 3 hit points instead of 2. So it hasn't really come up anywhere until this level, because I think I've had at least 1 hit point at the end of everything. And you know what? Actually, in a couple levels, we're going to get that ground pound level I was talking about. And there, dodge over here, hit those. All right, got him. That guy will kill you more often than not, because if you aren't paying attention, you will bounce on him and then fall in the water. Because you can't hover after you bounce on an enemy. You have a predetermined height and stuff that you can bounce off an enemy with, so you gotta know when you bounce on an enemy and when you don't. But that's that level. Gusty Cliffs is coming up. We are gonna have a rubber banding tornado chasing us through this level. If you hit the tornado, you die. Simple as that. There's no, it's like falling off the level. So we are just gonna skip right over that. We don't need that. It's faster just to do this. And now we can hear the tornado. Fall on him, swing through these guys. We are gonna see the lizard, not the lizard, the cheetah mask again. So we're gonna be zooming. And we're gonna take advantage of the zooming to actually shortcut a couple things through the levels. So whenever you dash, you can actually control a little bit of your momentum as you're going through. Like right here, I'm gonna dash back a little bit so we don't hit that platform. It saves a little bit of time, but this way we don't have to take a chance of like potentially getting caught by the tornado. Now there is a riskier strat right there where you can actually skip underneath one of those, but I have died more often than not when I'm trying to do this, so I'll play a little safe, skip that one. We're just gonna skip that upper one. We don't need that one, we're just gonna go here and up, there we go. All right, so
I like how you were talking up that tornado, and it was no big deal. We barely saw it on the screen.
Yeah, that's the other thing. We go too fast for it. Kind of like, you know, how I mentioned, like, we got the rising acid? That's this level. This is the one that there's a runner named Kavalka who has the world record on this one in an insane amount of ground pounds. I cannot do the number he does here, but I do it just enough that I generally don't see the acid. Also, the watermelon slugs, they are not fun. If you hit them from the front, they just knock you back and you can't control yourself. So you gotta hit them from behind. Grab the checkpoint out of safety. Going up here. So you can actually kind of see the acid rising in the background, but you don't actually see the death plane portion until a little bit later. There's one other level where the acid does chase you. It's in the last hub, and it rises pretty quickly. Because again, I'm talking up the acid and you don't see it. I'm taking an intentional damage boost there because it saves me a little bit of time. You don't see that damage boost in original too much because they'll just wait a little bit because you might need a damage boost coming up here. But I have the opportunity to do it because I have an extra hit point that you don't see in original. Who's worried
This
about
stage is
rising acid?
bananas.
It is. Very much bananas. And sometimes those bananas drive me up the wall. And yeah, so Jingles just mentioned the ground pound used to be where you have to hold down and hit dash in order to do it. It was patched in where you can actually like put that as a single button. For me, that's easier. And here we are on the auto scroller. So yeah, there is not a whole lot of ways to really speed this level up other than knowing where you can shortcut certain sections. Otherwise, it's you gotta wait. Everybody loves auto scrollers, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect time to go follow our runner here at twitch.tv/minfin. Go check out. You said you were going to be streaming a couple times this upcoming weekend, right?
Yeah, so honestly, I will probably be streaming a little later tonight because after I'm done with this, I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to start some charity streaming tonight. And then my general streaming times are, if I can think, I cannot think. This is what I get for trying to talk about my own channel. This is one of the places where I can shortcut and hop ahead. It's usually Sunday afternoons, Tuesday nights, Friday nights, and sometimes on Saturdays. I have to stream around my wife's schedule because she goes to bed early because she gets up real early for work. So I can't stream too late at night. So they're there, but I usually post on Twitter when I'm going live. So if you don't want to try to follow the, like, worry about it, if I could talk. If you don't want to remember the schedule, you'll see me on Twitter when I say when I'm live, but I will have charity events going on this
at
weekend.
Minfin?
Yes, it's at Minfin. I use Minfin on pretty much everything. Funny thing is like the reason it's got 2 eyes is because it started off as a typo that just stuck. It was supposed to be 1 eye, it got typed with 2, and I'm just like, sure, why not? So
It's fine.
the 2 sections on sections 1 and 2, you know you can skip because you're running across the letters. Once you hit the letters, you know you can start going early because it's the end of that section. Section 3 is not quite the same. You can, but the problem is this one doesn't zip ahead. I'm going to be quiet here for just a second. Okay, I missed my my audio cue, but at the end of that level, that 3rd section is the only one that doesn't zip ahead once you get ahead of the auto scroller. But you can still do the screen. You can still complete the level off screen. Generally what I do is I do the off the ledge spin jump, and as soon as I hear my ear stop twirling, I jump. I usually stop talking earlier than that, but oh well, it happened. Oh no, we have the fish chasing us. Oh, we got red flowers. What did they do? So this level introduces red flowers with the lizard mask. Red flowers make the ghost angry. Blue flowers make him go to sleep. So we want to hit as few of those red flowers as possible. And it also helps to hit the blue ones sometimes, because this thing will always catch up to you. And I missed one because I forgot. But that's okay. This is one of those things when I run this in a charity marathon, I will donate money for every red flower I hit. Kavalka also has the world record on this individual time, and he somehow went through it so fast there was 2 fish chasing him. I don't know how he did it. I jumped wrong.
It's okay, we get to see SEA this stage again.
Yeah. I don't know what I was doing for why I decided I could. I can't ground pound on those flowers. I don't know why. But hey, and you know what? I think that was one example of sometimes when you die, the checkpoints they give you are actually ahead of where you died at, because I don't remember any of this. Which is okay. It only happens in casual mode, but it's okay. It's fine. And now we're at the end of the level. It's permanently light. He will not be coming back. And there we are. This is one level where it's almost impossible to avoid the letters. So you're kind of stuck getting 3 or all 4 of them. But now we come into my favorite boss, Olaf. This is not the fun, cuddly, snowy Olaf from Frozen. This is a giant turnip that laughs at you. It's my favorite because I get to use the tiger mask and zoom. Now, since this is scripted, I can generally stand right where I need to on everything and not have to worry about doing a whole lot of movement. Because they will always spawn in the same spot. The only time RNG gets introduced to fights like these is if you die. Sometimes the cycles go a little differently, but otherwise they are generally the same. Now we have a level change. This is where we gotta worry about where we're dashing at, because now we have pits we can fall into. And dash, 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 right here. Dash over him, under him, dodge that, dodge that. That was me forgetting there was that one. So I was like, Olaf should be coming here. And now we gotta take advantage of the fact that I can clean the walls, because I need that to survive phase 3. But that's okay. Again, cycles. Very easy, very predictable. He may look like a snowman, but he's not as fun as cuddly as Olaf is from the movie.
Unfortunate.
And Olaf spawns on this wall. Oh no. I missed Olaf's head. Alright, well. I just realized his audio of his things sticks around when you miss them. Because you can hear him in the background. That's the first time I've missed his head. I've never run into that before.
Are you saying that's never happened before?
It's never happened before.
You know, someone in chat says this game has it out for vegetables. I think the vegetables have it out for you, really.
Yeah, the vegetables have it out for me. That's an interesting audio glitch I've never run into. That's okay. Things that, like, when you have bad luck, you find out things. All right, so now we're coming up to our last hub. This one's called Carrot Land. Everything we've run into in the past 3 hubs, except the ice, we run into here. So now we get to have some fun with all kinds of levels. And this one, we're gonna do a couple ground pound slams here to kind of skip ahead, because doing that ground pound slam right there lets us get ahead of that particular artichoke leaf. Bounce over here. Take advantage of the ground pound height for that. Skip a ladder. Bop. And now we get our bird mask for the 3rd and final time outside of the final boss. And now all of a sudden the lava's really fast. And it's there. Because the lava's an insta-kill plane. So if you, the interesting thing is normally you have a slight bit of iframes after you get hit. Well, when you're in bird form, if you get hit by these guys, you will get bopped into the lava, and then you die. So iframes don't really matter. I think I'm going to take a slight detour to make sure I can grab this, because I want 2 HP for a potential skip coming up, because it might cost me a hit point to get through it, and I want to make sure I have at least 1 by the end of the level, because it helps with the final climb. On this, I just dodge between these. Now, if I do this right, if I might be able to just cut through here without taking damage and completely skip a cycle. So that helps, because I don't have to wait on something to like go down and then go up and things like that. Like, who has time to wait for cycles?
We don't.
Eh. Unfortunately, I don't want to skip this one for similar reasons. I like to dub those guys Pickle Ricks, even though I'm pretty sure they're sleeping cucumbers, not pickles, but still.
I mean, close enough.
Yeah. They just snoozing is all they're doing. Now, if we cut that corner just that, we can basically hover here on the top and we don't have to worry about anything else on that cycle. And there we go. Bye-bye. Okay. I normally miss that entire cycle right there and I get hit and cool, I hit it.
Nice.
Works for me, because now I can very easily take that and just hover straight up to the end of the level. Yay, done. I forgot I was going to try that. Huh? Go ahead.
The game can be nice sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. All right, now we get to zip line on our ears again with a rubber banding tornado again. This time, this one is a little more aggressive, so you'll always hear it. You may not always see it, but you will always hear that tornado in the background. And partially because there's too much of these things, because you don't really gain any speed when you're in the little updrafts. I am almost just decided to try to hover jump, and you can't do that there. The platform's too high. And this level I'll kind of focus on a little bit, so if I don't talk, I do apologize. But it's largely because I try not to fall in all of the ever-present pits that are right there. And we got a giant eggplant. And all right, cool. So there's only one other part I really want to focus on. I'm gonna get that heart for safety reasons. I shouldn't be taking any damage the rest of this level, but just in case, you never know. So those jars have popped up in a couple spots. They suck. I've avoided them at all costs because they're slow. We don't like things that are slow, because you have an entire like 2.5 second animation just to pick them up, and then you can't spin. If you try to spin, you instead throw the jar. So it actually costs you time. I don't like them. It's unfortunate because you need to mess with one of those in order to get all of the letters in this level. So if you're doing Kaze%, you gotta slow down, and I don't enjoy it. I don't like going slow.
We don't need to go slow here.
All right, so now we get more of those jelly pads for an entire level. If there's not a jelly pad under you, there's thorny bushes under you. Except for right here at the beginning, because, yeah, this whole thing is about bouncing on those things. You really don't want to press jump too much in here unless you very explicitly need to go over something. Because if you press jump at the wrong time, you will end up with a head full of those spikes. I've done that one too many times on a PB run, and it's not fun. Because there's a damage boost I like to do later on in here. Not that one, but it works. For some odd reason, I was talking about the letters percent, and I immediately did a letter percent strategy. That's one I almost always hit the jump on for no reason, and then I end up flying into it. All right, so here we're actually going to try to take advantage of the hitbox and jump height on something, where we're actually going to try to jump over a platform, or not really a platform, but like a wall of spikes. So it saves us time. We can skip an entire tomato and a launcher, and not do that part as intended because you should have damage boosted there. But that's okay. It still ended up being faster than intended. All right, so we are coming up to our last lizard level. This is the longest of them, and it's also probably the most annoying. There is one cycle at the end that for some odd reason, like if the game lags slightly, throws that entire cycle off. So I really hope I don't run into that. Because you have to time bouncing on 3 bananas to finish off the level. Because if you don't, well, you die. And there's a lot of climbing on zip lines. Now we just run on the zip lines. But, and, bonk. All right, so this level's a lot of, there's not a whole lot interesting other than hopping up and down off of vines and avoiding those beats for this one. So if there's any announcements for any other GDQ related stuff, now would probably be a perfect time because I'm not running into those specific points until a little bit later.
Yeah, I just want to talk about a couple of things that we have coming up for the rest of the night tonight. We're going to be having Mario Golf Super Rush, another game that came out very recently, coming up right after this, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories after that on Challenger Approaching. So be sure to check out both of those. You can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to check out all of our different hotfix shows that we have. But yeah, that's what we have going on for the rest of tonight. And we have the Ratchet & Clank relay starting at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow, if anyone likes the Ratchet & Clank games.
I haven't played that since the second one. I never got a chance to play the third one. And then now I've got to have a PlayStation 5 for one, and no, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah, I've given up that the closest I'm going to come to owning a PlayStation 5 is a controller I use on my PC, and that's about it.
I also don't own a PlayStation 5, but I also have a PS5 controller, and it is very nice. It's got nice heft to it.
It does. It's definitely a lot heavier than the PS4 controller, and seems a little sturdier, so I do like it better. It's got more of a Xbox feel to it versus the PS4 controller, so I give it a thumbs up. And as you can see, we made it to the end of those 3 bananas without dying, so that went well. All right, so we're coming up to our last 2 mask levels. So we got 3 mask levels, or we had the lizard. This is our last shark level, and then the next one's going to be our last tiger level, or cheetah level. I don't know why I keep saying tiger. All right, so this one is going to be incorporating swimming with the darkness and annoying things like those whatchamacallit, those pineapple porcupine crabby things that we can't kill, and this fish and blue lantern things that we've got to hit, and also trying to zoom really fast underwater. Now, there are some tight cycles where you can actually kind of skip through those pedals. They are hard in this level. And not one I recommend, but I've done it once. Unfortunately, it was an offline run and it wasn't recorded, and so it doesn't count. I was practicing and I pulled it off and I'm like, why now? Now, you can actually get through this entire level without hitting those flowers at all, because with the way you dash, you actually stay ahead of that fish pretty much the entire time. He does have a rubber baiting mechanic, but it's not strong enough to keep up with constant fast speed and the dashing. So he will almost always just be on the edge of the screen, but he'll never catch up to you. Whereas, like, say, that lizard level, you run at 1 speed, so unless you're Kavalka, then you can just break the speed barrier somehow.
And I want to remind Chad as well, you know, when Finn was just mentioning one of the other runners of this game, you can go to speedrun.com/Kaze to find out more info. You can join the community from there as well on the left side tab.
Yeah, it's a great community. We're small. There's not very many of us to run the game, but we would like to change that, especially if you like running things like Donkey Kong Country or Rayman, because that's the first thing I thought of outside of Donkey Kong Country. It was Rayman because of the hovering wing, because it's like, it's the ears. The ears make me think of Rayman.
You're not wrong.
Hey, now we go zoom in above toxic acid. So we just don't want to miss any of these platforms. So there are definite skips that can happen. Just to play it safe, I am going to wait on a couple cycles on some of these to make sure I don't fall in the lava. Because I'm not gonna lie, this level has been one of the saltiest levels for me when I'm trying for a PB improvement, because I'm working on skipping some cycles like I did there that I shouldn't have tried. Jump button. Hello. Let's just wait. There we go. That was just, hey, let's walk off it. Why is my jump button not working? I love those times. There we go. And now we're at a checkpoint. The ears can cause drag if you hold back. So. All right, and now these all have predetermined cycles from the point that you're on the screen, so it's very easy to keep up with them. I tried to do something and I was way too late on it. I would have died there. Oh look, the lava's right, or not the lava, wow. Not lava, acid is rising. And those platforms don't always stay solid. So now we just gotta be careful. Because we actually gotta go from before this entire vertical section if we do die from here. Hang on the edge for a little bit. All right. I have jumped way too early there sometimes and hit the part that I can't grab onto. Oh, I did that too late. So you can get the ground pound like height glitch there to get to the portal from underneath it, but I did it too late.
Good try.
Yeah, it's okay. One of these days I'll go through it and I will have an entirely deathless run, and then the world record will be sub-hour. But today is not that day. It's okay. So, because I mean, that's one thing that actually like hurts a lot in the original run, is because on average, depending on where you die, you lose 20 to 30 seconds per death in original. Whereas in casual, you do start like relatively closer to where you're at. Right? Thankfully, that's not. I am pressing the wrong button. That's why. Haha. So like, I would have ended up all the way back at the checkpoint and have to go through the last like half of the level to get back to that point. So I do run the 90% portion also, but I'm bound determined to get this part sub-hour first. And I think like if I get this there, then that one will just be easier, because the only difference is I don't get to do as many damage boosts, but that's it. Again, right there, it is faster to actually collect that letter. All right, so this is the last actual level before our final boss. In this, 90% of the floor is actual lava, so we don't want to touch it. Although we come close because we got to wait for those platforms. Why did that go through that platform? I don't think my hitbox was quite over the actual flat part. So every now and then when you have a moving platform and you're in your bounce animation, your hitbox is a little smaller. So if you're not in the right spot, you'll actually just go through the platform because you haven't actually hit the ground part, because it's considering you as being under it. So that actually happens to be quite a lot in this level, because I try to go too fast and then I forget that I need to actually like go slow in certain areas, even though this is a speed run. I mean, it's kind of counterintuitive sounding, but I will. All right. gonna go here. Ow, that's not what I wanted to do, but hey, it works. We're at the last bit of this level. I just have to not fall in the lava. We're fine. All right, so now we're coming up on the final boss, Typhoon. She is the evil bunny who took all the powers. Yeah, I've noticed that every time you bounce on one, they're like, ow, ow, ow. Small little tear. Now, Typhoon is the only 4-phase boss in the game, but she's the final boss, so it is what it is. Now, the cool thing is this is also going to incorporate every single mask, but there are also cycles in this which kind of make this boss very predictable. So in the background, you'll notice every time I pick up one of those gems, it lights up. I have to collect 6 per area, and they always spawn in the same spots. So she follows you, and you can manipulate where she's moving. So it actually helps that you can actually just manipulate where she's at and then just completely dodge her. She never touches you. You always happen to be on a platform where one of those gems is at. And then it's like, cool. And now you turn into a vulnerable bubble. And since all of the platforms are static in this, I can actually just run as close to the edge of the screen as I want without having to worry about falling off because I know where platform is. And make my way through those, and that is number 6 for phase 2. Bop. Now we're Shark Boy. I say Shark Boy, but Kaze is a girl. What am I doing? So this one, the gems are in a very specific pattern. That's the only time I have to actually wait for her, because if I try to jump in that middle platform too early, she will run right into me and it doesn't manipulate her pattern. So we collect the first 4, and then we actually have to wait a little bit through a double lightning bolt before we can actually start going for the last 2. Now you can actually hop on these platforms way ahead of time and get up here. All right, and now we're on the lizard section. The only time we have the actual cheetah mask is on the last phase, because you gotta run away from her. So essentially we're dodging those, we're dodging falling buildings or platforms. Sometimes we're dodging under them. And essentially we make our way to the side here, and we're just gonna kind of wait. Because now we're just gonna wait on her. And time will be on my last hit, so 3, 2, 1, and time. That's the end of the run.
Just over a 105, it looks like.
Yeah.
Congratulations, man.
I was a little off my PB by about 2 minutes from all the dust, but hey, we're not here to get a world record. We're here to show off the game and show everybody how fun it is to play.
Yeah, and if anyone's watching that's interested in this game, Minfin, where can people both find you and find more information about the community?
All right, well, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Minfin. I'm also going to be streaming on GDQ sometimes here pretty soon, because I don't have a whole lot of subs, so I don't want to inundate people with ads. So I'm going to be going non-affiliate to let people enjoy me with a ad-free experience on Twitch and GDQ. And then this game can be found on Steam, Xbox, Switch, and PS5, I believe. I play the Steam version. I do know it's on Switch. I'm pretty sure on the other two, but I'm not 100% sure. It is a fantastic game. If you like platformers in the vein of Rayman and Donkey Kong Country, please play it, even if all you do is play it casually. If you want to speedrun it and you love platformers, it's an amazing game to play. And then the community does have a Discord from speedrun.com. And then If you like doing individual level grinding, after you beat a level, you do have a time trial you can do, so you can do those all day long, or you can do full. And then if you like retro platformers or Metroidvanias, come watch me. I tend to play just those all the time. So if it's an indie game and it's a fun game to look at, I probably will end up playing it at some point. And then I was given this opportunity earlier, and I'm going to finish it up with this. If you or anybody you know does suffer from mental illness that could potentially result in them taking their own lives, please support AFSP, which is American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I am doing a charity event for that all month long, and I will also be participating in National Suicide Prevention Week, September 5th through 11th. That is run by AFSP. So please check them out. It's at AFSP National or AFSP.info if you want to look it up. They have a lot of great resources. Be sure to check in on your loved ones. But with that, I'm going to call it a night and go get some food. I'll lurk on the next one before we get things going for the rest of the night.
Yeah, thank you very much, Minfin. Appreciate it. Thank you for being on. I do want to remind everyone that your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits cheered on the GDQ Twitch channel do support our weekly GDQ Hotfix content, which we have a lot of tonight. We have Mario Golf Super Rush and Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories coming up right after this. So everyone stay tuned as we get ready for Mario Golf Super Rush with Blue Candy. So stay tuned. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds, where we're showcasing off Mario Golf Super Rush. This is a show where we like to showcase off new games, and if anyone's interested in Kaze and the Wild Mats, which we just saw, or Mario Golf Super Rush, be sure to join the communities for these games. You know, especially with new games, there's a lot of stuff being found at a very fast pace, and it's always, interesting to join a community kind of in the early goings of a speedrun. So if anyone out there is interested, I will post the speedrun.com page in a second. Before we get started here, I do have a couple of GDQ related announcements. If you missed out on any Flame Fatales runs, you can go check out an archive of our past runs and shows at youtube.com/gamesdonequick. I also want to remind you that tomorrow we have the Ratchet and Clank relay starting at 11 a.m. Eastern. So if you like Ratchet and Clank games, be sure to check that out. But with that, I have someone that is very big in the Mario Golf community, Blue Candy, here with me. Blue Candy, how are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I am not bad myself. I'm excited to see this, and I know you've speedrun other golf games in the past, but I do want to ask you, what made you get into this game specifically when it came out?
Well, since I speedrun other golf games in the past, including Mario Golf Toadstool Tour for the GameCube, I realized that this was a pretty huge opportunity to delve headfirst into a speedrunning community, maybe do some management, but also just mainly to, find stuff instead of a game that's laid out for you in many years of playing already. What would it be like to speedrun a game right up your alley, but with a lot of things to find? Like there's routing potential, there's world record potential back and forth right at the start. It's a really entertaining beginning to a game, and I wanted to try it out.
Yeah, and before we get started, I actually do want to talk a little bit about the format today because, we're going to be showing off this all courses category, but we're also going to be seeing a couple of different things, Do you want to kind of explain what we're going to be seeing tonight?
Yeah, so we're going to start with the all courses run, which is about 55 minutes. I will be playing through all the courses available on this version of the game, which is V2.0, latest release. So that includes New Donk City. And then afterwards, we'll take a small break, and I will show you guys some miscellaneous showcases. This game has a speed golf mode, of course, so I will show off a course of speed golf. It'll take about 20 minutes. This is actually what I was practicing on the screen here. And then I also want to show off the pro layout of New Donk City because it has two different layouts, and the second one is much more difficult. And finally, in the name of inclusivity and accessibility, I want to show you guys that you can speedrun this game with one hand. So I will speedrun a course, or maybe two if you let me, Richard, one-handed. And I'll show that you could do that. And I'll be doing it on a GameCube controller too, so that's even more difficult.
All right, well, I'm excited to see this. So whenever you're ready to get started, I want to see Some golf action.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well, let me get out of this. So all courses, what we'll start with here, that's done on the score attack or the standard golf mode rather than the speed golf mode because it's much faster. You can speed up all your shots. So we'll start with that. And I'm going to go through all of the courses sequentially. Rookie course is pretty easy. You'll see me use Superstar Bowser, but there'll be another character at the end of the speed run. If you know who it is, try not to spoil it in chat, but I want you guys to guess if you're not familiar with the speed run, because there is character diversity in the speed run, which I'm really happy with the latest update. Beyond that, rules for this category are you can't give up on any hole, so you can't forfeit the hole, otherwise there would be no point to it. So the goal is to just put the ball in the hole as fast as possible. And we'll be doing this through the solo challenge mode because that offers the fairest playgrounds for every player. You can't choose the tees you choose or you play from. You can't choose the wind speed or anything else. It's all determined for you based on the character you select. So with that in mind, I will show you guys all courses. All right, ready? On time, I'll count you down from 3. Okay, so 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So of course we'll be using superstar characters. You unlock these by getting 3,000 character points for your character, and you get character points by just doing whatever in the game. So do it however you wish, but there are a few guides out there on how best to get them quickly. And with Superstar Clubs, essentially what happens is you get 60 yards added to your base yardage. And then on top of that, you lose a bit of control, so you become more like a glass cannon character. And finally, you get a lot more spin. And spin is an important stat in this game because it allows you to have multiple impact zones, which is what you see on my shot meter on the right there. Multiple impact zones allow us to shape the shot any way we want in the air, depending on how much spin you have. So Bowser has enough spin for 3 impact zones, which is really useful for the speedrun. In terms of how the shot mechanics work, they're much more casual friendly than previous Mario Golf installments. You don't have to, shape your shot at the same time you're setting the power. You can focus on multiple parts of your shot at different times, as opposed to previous Mario Golf titles. So what I'll be doing, how it works is, the first time you press A to start your shot, you are setting the power, essentially. And then you end the power whatever frame you want. Every single frame along the power meter is frame perfect, so if you want a specific frame of power, you have to hit frame perfectly on a 60 frame per second game, something I'm very used to due to Mario Golf Toadstool Tour in the past. And then you can set your artificial spin when you end your power, so like I'll use super backspin here, although I did mess the shot up. Okay, nice. Super backspin allows you to stop your shot sooner than you otherwise would have, and then regular backspin will do that, but to a lesser extent. You can also choose to end with standard spin if you just press A once, or top spin if you press A twice, which is what I'm about to do here. And then after you set your power and your spin, all you have to do is shape your shot, and you can use the control stick or D-pad for that. Bit of an interesting scenario there. Other mechanics of the shot, since the version 2.0 update, every single accuracy that you get on every single shot is completely random. So I have to deal with that, and the way I deal with it is playing this game in a sort of risk mitigation style. So you see on the earlier holes of Rookie Course, I was hitting outside of the red zone, the risk area is what it's called, as much as possible, in order to avoid my shot going awry. And that's especially important on the Rookie Course, which has all of these par 4 greens that you can drive with the superstar character. So I'm attempting to cut my strokes as much as possible, but the Rookie Course is pretty formidable in this category, as you have to head into the risk area quite often to drive the greens, as I mentioned. And yeah, that's pretty much the name of the game. It's a far simpler system than previous Mario Golf titles, especially ones like Toadstool Tour and Nintendo 64. Because in those you have to react to all of the RNG present, but in here you can't necessarily react to all of the RNG. You just have to have a plan on how to deal with every scenario the game could throw at you on every hole. But now that I've given you all of that information, I am happy to tell you that I can answer all of your questions about anything related to speedrunning this game, or anything about this game in general, actually. If you want, Richard will field those questions in chat, and I can answer them in bunches whenever I'm not talking about something here. But my goal for rookie course, while we're at it, I'm trying to get better than a -30 on every playthrough of this. So yes, we do dominate this course quite a lot, but the whole point of it is it functions as an executive course at the beginning of the adventure mode. So when your me is hitting 160 yards, well, you're not going to be getting 30 under par. But I like this course in the speedrun because it's like a different sort of play style than playing the standard golf courses. You get to have a lot of fun trying to get the best score possible, unrealistic scores, and playing unrealistic shots like that one where you curve around the tree. Some quick little shortcuts I'm doing for speed. You'll see me switch to long putter a lot, and I press Y twice to do that. What that does is, because the pin is in the cup on every hole when you're putting, that's actually a new rule in golf, by the way. As of January 1st, 2019, wow, the pin stays in the... You can choose to keep the flagpole in when you're putting on the green. I think it's a choice. It might be mandatory, but that is a new golf rule, and that's why it exists in this game. So because of that, I am able to use the long putter on almost every putt where it's optimal to do so, and I have the pin to stop my putts, but the pin is it can be a little difficult to work with sometimes, so you gotta be careful not to hit it too hard. A little bit of an art putting, frequently regarded as the hardest part of playing Mario Golf. And this is no exception to the rule.
You know, someone's asking, is this a legit speedrun? And I believe this is actually the most popular category.
It is,
for this game,
yes.
right?
All courses is the most popular category because of its, for one, its speed. When you're fast forwarding through all of these shots, it gives the speedrun a sort of unique feel in that you're going so fast. It's definitely unique to me, having speedrun other Mario Golf games. So you get to go really fast, and you're not limited in any way besides the restrictions of the solo challenge, which you will see come into play after rookie course. 31 under, pretty good score there.
You said you were aiming for 30 under.
Yeah. Got my goal there.
Oh, nicely done.
Yes. So the course to start out easier, rookie course. You think it's the easiest, but it's actually, I think it's the second hardest simply because of the risk area shots. But Bonnie Greens is definitely the easiest course, as we're not going to be trying to do any shortcuts here that require me to hit drives into the risk area all the time. So I have a lot more control over my shots now with my routing on each hole. And that's the beauty of Mario Golf speedruns. When you're just playing this game, it's like a natural thought process. What you can do so well in the game, but then like what's left after you hit 24 under on Bonnie Greens, for example? Well, what's left is to do it fast, because then it's even more impressive if you hit all your shots, but you also do it as fast as possible. So that's what I like the most about golf speedruns, is that. And to me, that screams a legitimate speedrun and a half. And that's why I'm happy to be showing it off here today. So every hole every shot actually is very touchy because it depends heavily on elevation. Elevation is pretty much by far the largest obstacle in this game, as most of the holes are relatively flat, or it's all in the subtlety, essentially, compared to previous golf games where, you know, you have cliff sides and all sorts of stuff going on. But greens are a very slick surface in this game, so it's all in the subtle curves that makes things difficult. So elevation is your biggest challenge, and it's pretty tough to understand without a simulation line like previous games had. You can't really see as well where your ball is going. Not that I need to see, I'm just doing it without looking. But without the simulation line, that elevation becomes the biggest issue and biggest thing to memorize. So you'll see me trying to play around that, but it's very, if you don't understand elevation at the surface, my shots may just look like, you know, they're just working when I'm hitting it harder or shorter than some others. So that's the key, is to look in between the lines and see. The elevation is denoted by those red or blue arrows, red meaning downhill. You can see it at the top of the screen there. It'll flash on every hole and for every shot. And that also comes largely into play when I'm using special shots. Special shots with Bowser, usually special shots with every character, they are not affected by wind. They're not affected by accuracy either, so they're a nice go-to. And they function like power shots in previous games where they give you an extra 10% of power. So we can use them to our advantage in routing single player. I know you guys, a lot of you guys probably don't like special shots if you played this game because it leads to games of stalemate online, and it's frustrating when your shot gets ruined by someone else's special shot. But in solo challenge, they are lots of fun because they are actually pretty difficult to optimize. Every frame on the power bar means a lot when you're hitting a special shot. So optimizing them is a big task, especially when you have to keep in mind elevation. And for some reason, Bowser is like one of 3 or 4 characters in the game that wind affects those special shots. But it's weird because it only affects it about like 10% of what a normal shot would do. So you have to get used to the way the wind affects normal shots, but also special shots with Bowser. Well, and now you're probably wondering why I use Bowser. Bowser is pretty much unanimously agreed upon the best character for speedrunning in both score attack and speed golf. And that is because he hits the second hardest in the game. He has enough spin to where we can do little special shots like this one, the impact zones. What I'm doing here is I'm lowering it and then raising it at the end, giving it more momentum at the start and then rising it at the end. We call it a riser, appropriately. And that extra momentum at the start gets converted into more momentum as you keep it going, essentially, in the end by giving it more loft. Not a very realistic shot in real-life golf, but it works well here, and it increases both our carry and control of the shot since we don't have to hit into the risk area unless necessary. So that's
Speaking of real-life golf, we had a question of, do you play real-life
yeah.
golf?
Man, I didn't even get like 15 minutes into this before the age-old question. I do enjoy real-life golf, yes. And actually, Toadstool Tour taught me a lot, believe it or not, about how golf physics work IRL, because it's very much closer than this game is to real golf physics. Obviously, I'm not, putting topspin on my shot in real life, but I do understand a lot about real golf, and I do enjoy it. Thank you for asking. I have my own set of clubs, and I also really like Topgolf. I would recommend Topgolf.
Topgolf is very
Yes.
fun. I'm bad at real-life golf, but Topgolf is a fun activity.
Oh yeah, I didn't say I was good at it. maybe I'm good at Mario Golf, but I don't have the upper body strength to hit more than 150 yards. Can't drive it far, but I still like it. It's very fun. So yes, special shots, they're pretty routed in stone for me. I will try to use them on the same hole on every course because that's what I'm used to. And the beauty of Mario Golf is there's probably multiple routes that will work. So you can watch current record speedruns of this game or other top runners and kind of develop how you want your own shots to work. That's one of my main goals. I want to encourage you guys to speedrun Mario Golf Super Rush because I know it may not be everyone's first thought to speedrun a golf game. I mean, we just got asked if this is a legit speedrun. That's, of course, up to your interpretation, but the further we go in this and the more courses and holes on those courses go well in my favor, well, I think you'll find that anticipation will build and you will definitely be on board with this speedrun.
You know, we get that often, that question quite often here on the Games Done Quick channel, and my answer to it really is, if you're playing with a timer, it's a speedrun. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just what it is. It doesn't matter if you're, you know, like, what you're doing. If you're playing with a timer and you're playing a game, it's a speedrun.
Yep. Indeed. In the name of speedrunning, we can go over some more stuff that I'm doing to, you know, cut time on each hole. If possible, I want to club up in every instance that I can when I'm shooting to the green or so forth. What that's called is a punch shot, where you club up a bunch, but you cut the power. Wow. Somehow rolled off that green. Just missed the chip, too. Not bad. Bonnie Greens is almost perfect, actually. As soon as I start talking about more in-depth stuff, of course I mess up. But yes, punch shots are the name of the game with this, so you need to be able to control your second shots to the green by hitting higher clubs, or lower clubs, actually. And that's how they go in golf. Lower clubs, they're going to be approaching the green much more quickly, so you need to be able to control them. And that is something that is optimized over a long period of time. You have to learn it. It's definitely a feel thing. There's an instance of the pin not cooperating. Alright, good Bonnie Greens till the end there. But remember, it's only going to pick up in difficulty from this point on. So I gotta stay on my A game.
And while we go to the next course here, I do want to ask you, you know, what do you do on your stream? Where can people find you? And, you know, what do you do besides golf?
Yeah, if you don't know me, I am a Mario Golf Series speedrunner at world record pace. I also play Kirby Air Ride and Animal Crossing speedruns, also at world record pace. So I'm mostly a Nintendo streamer, but Mario Golf is my specialty, how I got started on Twitch. 4.5 years ago, I've been speedrunning Mario Golf games. I'm on twitch.tv/bluecandy. Tweet when I go live. I have a nice Discord server with one channel in it, so you can keep up with it very easily. I like my community a lot. We're very laid back, and golf speedrunning kind of fits right in with that. If you're interested in golf speedrunning, resources for that are simply speedrun.com/mgsr. The Discord server for that is on the side panel. And every available resource there that you could really want for speedrunning this game. We'll get into it pretty quickly going to that site.
And be sure to check it out. And, you know, we're getting a lot of love for you in the chat as well. Your emote prefix is Wowie.
Yes.
That's pretty great.
Wowie is my favorite emote that is on Twitch. It's actually a better TTV emote. But it was implemented, I don't even know, like sometime in 2017. I found it and I was like, this is actually perfect. It, like, embodies all of the sass, and it's just, it's such a great emote. So I base a lot of my, you know, all the hype on stream and all the, just everything is Wowie in my stream, basically. We chant Wowie all the time. We raid with Wowie. And my emote prefix is Wowie. If you haven't seen that emote, you should take a look at it. You could use FFZ or BTTV to look at it, because that is it is a dog that deserves all of the eyes on it.
All right, you heard it, chat. If you're interested in Wowie, just go to twitch.tv/bluecan.
Indeed. So for those of you who I'm piquing your interest in speedrunning this already, you're probably wondering how putting works, because yes, that is universally regarded as the most difficult part of Mario Golf, and it is no slouch in speedrunning either. Putting, I really can't give you a good answer. Games like Toadstool Tour and Super Rush are incredibly based on not only feel, but just like muscle memory too. Memorizing the layout of every course is also big in that, and like, it's such a rewarding style of speedrun because there is no, you know, cut and dry way to learn how to putt. You just get used to it over time, and once you're really good at it, or you feel really good at it, it's so rewarding to get it right. So these games like Toadstool Tour and Super Rush are very much large in the department of the rewarding aspect, and this one sort of falls within the risk mitigation kind of speedrun. That's how I've That's how I've referred to it since the 2.0 update randomized every accuracy. Because actually, before this update with New Donk City and so forth, every single shot was, we knew the accuracy. We could tell the accuracy based on which tee we were hitting from on which course, and you could even memorize the second and third shot accuracies based on where you hit and, you know, what surface you're hitting off of. So, you know, when the game first came out, the speedrun was quickly optimized as a result of that once it was found out that you could actually know every single shot, how it was going to work. And since then, we thought we lost it all, really, when V2.0 came out, and suddenly we no longer had control over the accuracy on every shot. It was no longer deterministic. But over time, we found that we could change our routing rather than, you know, a set way to shoot every tee shot on every hole. We could change it to a sort of risk mitigation strategy, which is exactly what you saw in rookie course, where I try to hit outside of the risk area every time I can. But if I can't, well, I have to have some strategy in mind for how I want to deal with bad mishits or good luck. And so because of that, the feel of the speedrun changed quite a bit with this new update, but I stuck with it, and I actually think that I enjoy this more. I think that I enjoy it more, and I think it has much more longevity as a speedrun, because it's that much more difficult to optimize, essentially, compared to how it used to be. So there is a long future in speedrunning something like all courses in this game, especially as the leaderboard is set up to basically include every new version of the game. If there are more courses included as DLC packages, which are all free, then those get added to the newest version of all courses speedruns, essentially. And that keeps the speedrunning a little more fresh, especially if they released a lot of courses, you know, monthly or every few updates. So yeah, that speaks a lot to the longevity of the speedrun, especially since the style of it changed to be, you know, how can we manage to not have things go awry? Like, this hole is a very difficult one to get right because it's quite frequently subjected to risk area shots in order to drive the par 4 green. And you don't want to know how many times I've been stuck in that taifu, which is what those enemies are called. If you hit your ball into there, it kind of just like goes inside it and then drains down, and you just land in the rough. It's not fun. And
Doesn't sound like it.
yeah. And as of the newest update as well, they do blow your ball quite a ways away. They're very powerful. So they're on a local timer as you enter each hole. So now the shots are different, like on this hole, to get around their wind streams. And that, you know, that was just another thing we had to adapt to and route around. But I think that, like, those layers of depth getting around these enemies adds quite a bit more, like, diversity to the shots and the feel of each course and the difficulty overall as well. There's another example of the pin not working with me. It can be so annoying. Oh, and then this hole. This hole is really tough because I have a different tee shot depending on the pin location and when that happens as well. Alright, when this happens, I basically don't have a backup plan, so I basically just don't want this to happen. Anything else would be great, but now we have to deal with that. This hole is universally regarded as the most difficult one in Ridge Rock and all of early game, and yeah, it was no slouch for me that time, but if things do go well, that is a typical birdie for me.
So what you're saying is that hole rocks, but not the kind of rocks that we like.
Yes. It rocks in that it's really difficult, so when it does go well, you're pretty happy about it. Yeah. And the way this speedrun kind of works now, if you wanted to try to go for world record, almost every course has, you know, 1 or 2 mistakes in it still. If you play a course within 2 mistakes, which becomes really difficult when we get to the later courses, then you have a chance at world record. but it will probably take you a while to get to that point. But we're here to help. I love to see people speedrunning Mario Golf any game, and I really enjoy Super Rush speedruns, so I would like to see more people taking it up. As for me, more plans for this game. I do want to submit this to the next AGDQ, but not as like a single player format. We're looking to submit it as a 1v1 race between the top 2 players. And I think that works really well with the sort of, style of run that you would want to see on a main stage GDQ, because it's already so fast-paced. When you have 2 players to focus on, and it can go back and forth 3 or 4 seconds based on someone making a putt or missing a putt, it's going to be very much neck and neck almost the entire race, and I think that makes for a really good showcase, especially with the fast-paced golf and all the strategies that exist.
That does sound pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's our plan.
Especially since it's been like non-stop so far. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about.
That's our plan with this game leading forward in terms of GDQ showcasing. And if you did miss it... Sorry, go ahead.
Are there any are there any things like, community-wise going on lately?
Yeah, so that's another thing. The community for Super Rush actually is not super active, believe it or not. For a new game, it's kind of disappointing, all things considered. That was also really good. So that's one reason why I'm looking to see, like, you guys think you can golf well? Well, I want to see your skills put to the test. But sometimes the Super Rush Discord server, it's not only for speedrunning, it's also like a central resource for matchmaking, online play, and so forth, but it contains the speedrunning hub in it. We've hosted Discord tournaments there in the past, although we aren't actively doing so because there just really isn't enough interest. So we're waiting for like major updates of DLC to the game to really start promoting a lot of tournaments and activity in the community in general. But that being said, it's still a great speedrunning game, and the reason why I still play this game is because, or actively play it, is because of speedrunning. This prolongs the novelty of it for a very long time for me.
Ready?
If you're interested, and maybe you don't want to do something like all courses, even though I think it's the best speedrun of this game, speedrun.com/mgsr also has leaderboards for score attacks in general. So if you can get the best score on a course, which every course currently at -24 or better in the solo challenge mode, which is, it's daunting, yes, but if you take the time, you could become a score challenge or score attack competitor. We also have leaderboards for speed golf and the time attack leaderboard as well. So there are multiple different ways you could speedrun this. You could also speedrun the story mode if you really wanted to for some reason. I tried it once and I wouldn't recommend it, but I would 100% recommend this.
Yeah, actually, how long did this game take you casually to play it when you initially played it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I started off with maybe like 2 or 3 hours of just getting used to the mechanics of the game before I tried the story mode, and I spent a lot of my casual playthrough of the story mode talking to all the NPCs and so forth, and it was about 5 hours.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of people struggled initially with the cross-country golf, which is something the community definitely hoping will exist outside of the story mode in future updates, because that would really be a fun thing to speedrun. That would be a ridiculously fun speedrun. But cross-country golf is the thing that a lot of people struggled with. And when you approach a golf game with like general knowledge about how shots work, and I mean if the physics engine of the game also agrees with that, you kind of get an understanding that, you know, if you're having troubles with, you know, shooting the shots up the tornadoes or whatever, you simply need to play a shot with more forward momentum, as a tornado's main function is to change forward momentum into vertical momentum. So if you just play a wedge shot into it, it's not going to go anywhere. So a lot of people may have struggled with that casually, and that's another thing I'm ready to give you advice about. But I found it to be enjoyable, but of course I agree with most of the opinions that it is a little lacking overall in content, and for that reason speedrunning, I felt, should be like a natural like progression of thought, you know. If you do so well in the game and there's not a lot to the story mode as it stands, then speedrunning is definitely where to hone your skills.
So, do you play any other golf games besides the Mario Golf games that you mentioned earlier?
Actually, not really, unfortunately. I like them all. I've played like multiple GameCube era Tiger Woods golf games, PGA Tour ones.
Ready?
But I don't actually play a ton of games. I just like to speedrun the ones that I do have some skill in and like to develop. But I will try new golf games. I've never owned a PlayStation, so I can't play everybody's golf, for example. I've been thinking about getting PGA Tour 2021, though.
Ready?
Been a thought. That's a massive tailwind on this hole. I've actually never had 20 mile per hour out on this hole before. That's the max wind.
That's windy right there.
Yeah, I had to take like 4 or 5 frames of power off my shot, and I was like, oh, boy, I don't even know if this is gonna work, because that's also one of the most downhill holes in the entire game, so you already have to take like a ton of yardage off of your shot to begin with. But luckily, it looks like it worked out. And that's kind of like up the avenue of how golf games and speedrunning them are a lot about feel and just understanding how the shot mechanics work in general. Once you have that, you can make on-the-fly improv adjustments when you get situations like that you're not used to. It's all about improv, really, and that's another thing that makes this cool. I may have like set, you know, shots that I want to hit on each hole, but after that, it's all about reacting to the environmental conditions, which are governed by luck, and seeing how I have to adapt. And in this game, there is quite a bit of depth still to adapting, especially because we have these multiple impact zones and we can shape different parts of our shot with Bowser. You could also choose to speedrun this with a character that has 4 impact zones. I find my comfort zone is 3, but you could definitely have some advantages over Bowser by using a character with 4. And characters are actually, believe it or not, they're really close in terms of their usefulness in this game. There isn't a lot that separates Bowser from Mario, for example, as someone with 4 impact zones. You could...
Speaking of the characters,
yeah.
Okay, actually, continue your thought.
You could get a lot of mileage off of using any character, is what I was going to say. Except for Rosalina, because she putts super slow.
Yeah, so we had this question in chat earlier. I couldn't really fit it into this conversation because there was so much going on, but which character, in your opinion, has the best golf outfit?
I see. You know, it's really nice that Bowser ended up being optimal character for speedrunning, because his outfit is really good. You gotta hand it to Wario and Waluigi, though. They're truly classics right there. And it's interesting because I think this is the first game where we've actually seen their hands, because they have a golf glove on one hand, but the other hand is actually bare. But they've had gloves in like every other game. I'm not sure if we ever saw them before. So that's pretty classy.
That's great.
All right, so I better explain Rain, since we're on the course with a bunch of weather. Rain is it's pretty tough to work around, but I actually really like Rain in this game compared to Toadstool Tour, for example. Rain does a few things. It will lower the loft of your shot overall, so your shot height will be lower than it otherwise would have. It also reduces total carry a bit, which is how far your shot goes before it hits the ground first time. And it also is going to cause surfaces to be slicker, so they have more friction, and therefore your ball will stop faster. That is why you need to add more power when you are putting in the rain, and that is why super backspin is really effective at stopping shots on the green in the rain. So rain is actually a nice tool if you understand how much power you need to add to a shot in the rain to go the distance you need it to, essentially. And you don't hit obstacles like that tree, for example, which normally I would hit if I topped the ball completely in the first impact zone. So I made sure to be careful with that. You could put, by the way, you could put between 1 to 3 arrows for how much you want to shape your shot in each of the 3 impact zones. That is what I'm doing there. There's some very subtle finesse, some shots that you can do using less than 3 arrows. As an example of one of those. This course, you can either get sunny, rain, or thunderstorm. And when it's thunderstorming, there are those shadows you can see in the fairways. Those storm clouds act the same way that Wario's special shot does. It creates a storm cloud. If you are under a storm cloud and you hit into the danger zone on your shot meter, then you'll get zapped essentially, and once you're zapped, your shot starts behaving very erratically, so it's hard to tell where exactly you need to stop the shot meter. So there's a bit of routing on this course to get around being zapped, or the potential of being zapped, and one of those is to use special shots on a few holes like hole 4.
Excellent.
But yeah, that's the gimmick of this course essentially.
One of the questions that I have is about the weather. Is that something that's random, or is that something that you could like predict in some way?
So the weather is actually kind of strange in this game. Okay, you can hit that tree, by the way, so I have to be careful there. In this game, rain is random, and outside of this course, wow, it comes in runs. And what that means is essentially once it starts raining, it'll start raining randomly on a hole that is not the first hole of the course. Once it starts raining, it can rain for 2 to 6 holes or something like that, and it can happen sequentially, so you could get rain on the whole course if you're unlucky. This is going to be interesting. Could have been an interesting shot there. Glad I made it out of that though. And then for the wind is also another random thing, but each iteration of a course, essentially when you start the course up, will have the same wind on every hole. But wind will change if you get rain or a thunderstorm, for example, on this course. So, but you always have the same wind like condition on each hole. As a result, some categories allow you to play from restarting from the first hole, and what that does is it conserves the iteration of the course that you're playing on. So therefore, the wind will be the same on every hole, and that's how you essentially grind a per course record if you wanted to do that. You could get used to the wind velocities that you have, or reset until you get holes that have more optimal wind velocities that could help you out. But every time you play the course, regardless of what iteration you're on or if you're conserving it, rain is random. You can't get rain on Balmy Dunes or Bowser Highlands though, so those 2 courses are exempt from rain. And in this course, rain does not function the same way. It'll rain on pretty much any hole. So it may come in runs, it may not. It's just random. That hole right there, Wild Weather 13, is very problematic. It's very difficult to get around that tree, and you have to be very precise. Which club you're hitting will determine whether you'll make it over. And the best way, that's only from the championship tees, by the way. You automatically get the championship tees if you play a superstar character outside of a rookie course or New Donk City. So you have to be sure you're playing from the correct tees if you're practicing this game for speedrunning. This is pretty good though.
Excellent.
You mentioned how, Bowser's like, the best character for speedrunning. How much experimentation was there in all of the different characters before you kind of came to that conclusion?
That is a funny question because there almost wasn't experimentation. It was almost purely based on just like a visual cue almost that he is putting really quickly. So putting animation matters a lot. Like I mentioned with Rosalina, she is very visually apparent. She puts like almost 2 seconds slower. So you route out characters at the, when the game first came out, routing out characters was like, okay, well, if I'm playing 6 courses, 108 holes, if I lose 2 seconds on every putt, well, that's 216 seconds, which is like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Wow. That was almost a perfect wild weather too. I'm like this short of getting a perfect course. Drat. Okay, very close though. Still very good. So yeah, because Bowser's a really strong character, and when we were playing him, we really didn't notice him. We did notice him putting rather quickly. There weren't really many issues. Also, the type of the special shot he has, the blast shot, that gives you the most loft in the game, so it allowed us to clear the most obstacles, or clear obstacles that other characters couldn't. For example, if you're using a stinger special, well, you're gonna hit like trees and stuff. But actually, that is a little bit different as of the more recent update too, because the patch notes told us that special shots now pierce through tree foliage, so we don't have to worry about trees as much. But any rock face is still gonna be not very good for a stinger special. So that was kind of how Bowser, just came to be for speedrunning. I just started using Bowser. He was the strongest character with 3 impact zones, so that was the base reason. The second reason that kept me using him was that it looks like he putts really quickly, which is it's a known thing for routing in previous Mario Golf games. We used Waluigi in Toadstool Tour, for example, because Waluigi is the fastest putter in the game, and it's a big deal. So that's why we kept him around, and really, the 5 yards does make a big difference in speedrunning this. You could use Wario, for example, who isn't half bad, but his superstar drive is 283 yards versus 288. And that could mean that a special shot is that much more difficult to get right, or something like that. So this course is exceptionally difficult. It is definitely by far and away the hardest course in the game, whether you're trying to drive a par 4 eagle or whatnot. But it also has the most shortcuts available, so a perfect round of Bowser Highlands, which is not going to be this one probably, as we're going to fall in that. Nice hitbox, by the way. Oh, this is tough. Oh my goodness, bad RNG. This is one of those holes that is just exceptionally difficult. Made the chip though. Very good. As I was saying, this course is really tough. It's just all around regarded as the hardest. It's very much dependent on luck and not hitting into risk areas, but even so, like, even if a shot doesn't go into risk area, the accuracy can still make it quite hectic. And there are also a few pin locations on certain holes, one of which is hole 7, that are 100% regarded as run killers. If I get left pin on hole 7, I'm going to struggle probably, unless I get pretty lucky. And for that reason, I'm showing you guys courses in sequential order as they're listed in the game to promote increasing difficulty. Luckily, I did not get left pin. I am spared. But there are a couple more holes with tough pins. Alright. RNG is shining upon me right now. Very good. In actual... Oh, but I messed up anyways. No.
Oh no.
In actual attempts, we do not play the courses in the same, like the sequential order. We actually start with Bowser Highlands. It's best to do so you can... if you're on good pace, you don't start messing up every single hole in Bowser Highlands later on because you're nervous. This is one of those holes with a really nice tee shot. But also, you have to hit nearly full power, so it does rely on a luck factor and not hitting the risk area there, which you probably would hit into the risk area. It's probably half and half. When you're hitting a full power shot, you pretty much have a 50% chance to go in the risk area and 50% to not, with Bowser's amount of control. That's gonna be a tough putt too. A lot of the time, you'll see that the green grid doesn't even show up by the time I'm making the putt. My goal is to hit shots as fast as possible as soon as I am able to hit the shot. And that would be best if, you know, if I knew the format of the green already, which to an extent I do. Oh, this is fascinating. Worst possible right miss hit there means that I hit the rock. Thus have to reroute, but I might have saved it. Alright. Odd hole 10 there, I'll take it. The only problem holes left are this one and 14. Very difficult holes remaining in the run. Need good luck here. That's not very good luck.
Nice, huh?
You can see on certain parts of the green that you roll a bunch, like right there. Pins gotta behave. Oh man. I'm also like subtly routing my shots so that I'm not hitting parts of the green where my ball is going to roll, because the ball will roll for about 3 seconds if you're holding the fast forward button at most. So we want to avoid that roll because that will start adding up in time very quickly. And on most holes, I try to avoid it. That one, hole 11, is incredibly difficult to avoid rolling on it because of the risk area shot, but I did my best. Last difficult hole. Hole 18 is not easy, but hole 14 is really, really difficult if you get the back pin location. So I should elaborate that from each tee box that you hit from, there are 2 possible pin locations on each hole. They will always be the same 2 and randomly decided between the 2, so every hole is a 50-50, and I got the good luck on this hole. Nice.
Nice.
That is actually quite a relief. It's not as bad as hole 7, but it does prevent you from getting eagles quite often. I'm actually going to take a shortcut here where I hit onto hole 15's fairway, and that gives me a more reliable shot to both pin locations from the championship tees on this hole. Very good. All right. So New Donk City is coming up. That is where I will be using the second character in the speedrun. Again, feel free to guess if you know it. You don't have to spoil it for the chat, but good luck guessing. It is a very welcome addition to the speedrun because I don't know. I just like the entirely different feel of routing with this character, and you'll see more of it later on when after the break when I'll do a New Donk City Pro layout. For all courses purposes, you do not have to do both New Donk City Amateur and Pro, so we go which one's faster, which is the Amateur layout.
Nice, huh? Nice.
So wrapping up Bowser Highlands here, actually about average, I would say. It went better than, you know, it could have gone much worse, so I'm pretty happy with that. The perfect score on Bowser Highlands is 25 under, believe it or not. If you were to not make any mistakes with the route using Bowser, you'd get a 25 under. So this has 5 mistakes in it, which, I mean, that's a good round of golf for a course as difficult as this one. And very quickly, I will be switching gears to New Donk City, which is going to be a completely different playstyle from this. Ooh, that might be overhit. Hole 18's no slouch. To be careful. Oh, nice. Perfect.
Nice.
All right, Bowser Highlands. And depending on the category that you are speedrunning, you could end the run right there. We call that a no DLC run of all courses. So all of the courses in the base game. All right, we will be switching to Pauline. And also on the standard club set to ensure that we'll be playing the amateur layout of the course. So the gimmick here will show up on hole 2, so I hope you're ready for that. name of the game is to make as many holes in one as possible, as this is a par 3 course.
Nice.
And I will show you how to make a few. Hopefully I did this right. Using Pauline's special shot. That should work.
Wow. Hole in one.
Nice. So I mentioned earlier, yeah, most special shots are not affected by wind, and Pauline is no exception there. That was a good one, nice. So we can use the stinger shot to, on holes that have no elevation, we can use the stinger shot to more reliably sink some holes in one. Okay, nice. These greens are pretty small though, for a par 3 course. That's the theme of it, small greens, but par 3 short hole layouts. So I have to be careful when I use punch shots. I'm only clubbing up a few times to try to save some time here using punch shots. Whoa, that was chaos. I cannot believe I stuck the green.
That was scary.
Yeah. I have to be careful I don't roll off the green with too aggressive of a shot.
Wow. Hole in one.
Very nice. So I'll be using these special shots as often as possible on holes that will benefit quite a bit from using them. Good.
Hole in one.
It's really good to start racking up these holes in one on the shorter par 3s because if you have good wind direction, the only thing you're fighting against really is just getting a good accuracy in order to make it go in the hole. And one subtle thing about accuracy you may not have noticed, if you look, well, better to look at the VOD now, but if you look, the top of your shot meter is always slanted, depending on whether you're playing a left. Oh, I fell off just barely. What? Depending on whether you're playing a left-handed golfer or a right-handed golfer. The reason it's slanted like that is because, actually, depending on the accuracy that you get, you could get a shot with the left accuracy. It will go further than it otherwise would have.
Excellent.
Okay, nice pin.
Birdie.
And this is for a right-handed golfer. So because it curves up, essentially you're hitting higher up on the shot meter.
Ready.
And as a result, your shot will go further and also to the left, which is undesirable, depending on how you're shooting.
Wow. Hole in one.
Very good. Some of these are frame perfect, by the way, so hole 11 is a little finicky. So I have to hit the right frame of power with my special shot.
Nice approach.
It's better to do regular backspin here as well. Anyways, yeah, so...
Nice.
And for right-handed golfers, if you hit a right miss hit or you get a right accuracy, you know, your shot's actually going to go less distance than it would have. Unfortunate. This one's really difficult because you want to avoid the table,
Chip in.
but you have to stop your shot pretty quickly there. Oh, we can't even see Pauline's face. What happened there?
Ready.
No, stay on the green. Chip-ins are bad, you know, I may be making chips and that's great and all, but we have to wait for the guy to say chip in every time, so they actually lose some time. And speaking of time, it will be when the ball goes in the hole on the 18th hole of this course. So be ready for that.
Approach. Birdie.
The last course, and thus all courses completed. All right, one more
All
special
courses
shot.
completed, but not the end of golf.
Not the end of golf.
We're gonna have some more.
Indeed. Stay tuned for that as we finish up this run.
Wow.
Nice.
Hole in one.
Fun fact, the current world record for this category does not even get all 4 special shots to go in the hole. I messed one up. So, better than world record, let's go.
Nice on.
Nice.
Birdie.
And speaking of world record, I actually got the most previous record for this category last night while I was practicing for this.
Ready.
So it's still
That's
very
awesome.
much a fresh meta, if you're interested.
Nice.
All right,
approach.
and
Birdie.
time.
Nice birdie.
Congratulations, Blue Candy. Just under 53 minutes.
Let's go. My goal was a sub 53. I'm really happy with that. Nice.
Yeah, very nicely done.
So the world record is a 51:45, so we were not very far off of it. And that shows, again, shows how fresh the meta is and how this speedrun is actually pretty it's really cool. I mean, to be able to play multiple characters, multiple different strategies with the special shots, I definitely recommend it. I'm having a lot of fun with it still. So, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone in chat is interested in this game, again, go to the speedrun.com page. So speedrun.com/MGSR. I'll type that in chat for everyone as well. But yeah, be sure to check out the community there. And again, before we get into the rest of the golf, can you just remind everyone where we can find you?
Yeah, twitch.tv/bluecandy is where I stream this game, Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, Kirby Air Ride, Animal Crossing speedruns. If you're interested in any of those, I've got them all.
Yeah, so if anyone in chat is interested, I just posted the links to both of those in chat. Be sure to follow Blue Candy during this break and go check out the speedrun community as well. A couple announcements before we go into this next break to prepare. Again, we have speed golf after this. We have the new Donk City Pro layout, and then a couple of one-handed courses going to be played by Blue Candy here. So I want to remind everyone that all of your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, bits cheered on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel do help support all of this weekly hotfix content. We have shows going on pretty much every day. So you can go to gamesdonequick.com/hotfix to find out about all the shows. And if you have your own idea, you can submit it there as well. So, feel free to do that during the break as we get ready for the second part of Mario Golf Super Rush coming up right after this. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Testing Grounds. We've just finished off the all courses run by Blue Candy here on Mario Golf Super Rush, but that is not the end of what we're going to be seeing tonight for Mario Golf. I want to remind everyone before we get started again that we have the Ratchet and Clank relay starting at 11 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. So if you enjoy any of the Ratchet and Clank games, you can check out the relay all day tomorrow here on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel. But with that, Blue Candy, we are here. We are going to be seeing some speed golf. Do you want to explain what that is and get underway here?
Yep. So speed golf is the one of the other main mode in Super Rush, which instead of just teleporting instantly to your ball, you are forced to run to it, and you have coins and hearts that replenish your stamina along the way, and you can do special dashes. It is the mode that you probably have the most fun with your friends, but there is a lot of optimization to be had in single-player time attack / speed golf, which we have leaderboards for as well, per course. So I will be doing Wild Weather Woods speed golf with Bowser again, because he is the best for speed golf as well. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of character diversity. He just happens to be the fastest, best special dash. If you're interested in that, I do have a tier list about speed golf, their special dashes and that, and so you can see who's best, so you can win against your friends if you need to. But yeah, so Bowser will be used for this. I'm going to do Wild Weather Woods because it has the best soundtrack, honestly. I like it a lot. You can kind of hear it softly, but you'll get the full blast of it in just a second when I start the run. And there are also a few strategies that exist on this course that depend on whether it is sunny or raining, because the lily pads in the water on some of the holes change the location based on the weather. So we have to adapt our routing accordingly, and sunny just happens to be a lot more difficult on one of the holes. Kind of hoping it's sunny there, but if it's not, we'll see. I want to show off a cool strat. Anyways, much like Score Attack, Speed Golf, you can grind on the same iteration by restarting from the first hole, and that will retain the wind speeds that you have on every hole depending on your weather, but not the weather itself. So, Speed Golf typically is timed with in-game time if you're submitting to the leaderboards, but we'll be just doing an RTA time of it here because that is very cool. And also there is a miscellaneous category if you liked all courses and you want to do all the courses, but in speed golf, we have that too. So without further ado, I will count you down for starting up speed golf. Okay. So the run will begin in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Thank you. So the strategy changes a bit here. on a lot of holes, you actually want to route around the thunderclouds, but you'll notice that I'm using not Superstar, but Standard Bowser. And the reason for that is, again, through the solo challenge mode. If you use the Superstar character, you will end up having to play from the championship tees. And it just so happens that costs a lot of extra time compared to playing from standard tees with the standard clubs. So I will be using the standard clubs. That is optimal for world record attempts and also just best time in general. And the way this category works, the game mode works, is every shot you take, every stroke you take, is 30 seconds added onto the timer in addition to how long it takes you to make it to the pin and hit all of your shots. So the name of this game, if you're going by in-game time, is to not miss any shots that you take. And it can be really difficult if you're used to the Superstar clubs like I am. It can be really difficult to use the standard clubs because you have less control due to only having one impact zone. Very close there. And that's just how speed golf works. There is a lot of optimization probably that remains to be done in terms of how you route your movement on each hole, how you go to like where the hearts are. They are placed strategically and also in difficult locations that can challenge you. And that's pretty much how speed golf works. It's a little bit refreshing in that it encourages you to get over the bridge, Bowser. It encourages you to try to use the standard clubs and thus have less control over your shot with only one impact zone. Another thing is you have less clubs available to you because I don't know if you remember from the story mode that if you have too many clubs in your golf bag, your speed gets slowed down, so you can't move as fast. So it's optimal to use fewer clubs, and that's automatically done for you in the solo challenge mode as well, depending on which club set you're playing with. So when you play with Superstar clubs, you don't even have a driver. Your highest club is or your lowest club is a 5 wood, so you can't even hit as far. And that's another reason why standard clubs are just better overall for the time attack mode. Again, the special shots are in play and are super important to getting an optimal routing down, especially when every stroke costs you 30 seconds. I've already flung myself far away from any possible world record. But that is just how it goes.
Still seems very fun to play,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. It is very refreshing to try out time attack if you're growing a little bit tired of the way score attack works. And the kind of, more platforming aspect of it is another appealing factor.
Yeah, that does add like a different dynamic to, what before was a golf game where you just go from like each different point.
Yes. Some of the strategy elsewise that exists in this is something like this, where you hit maybe a 7/8 power shot instead of full power. And that is because it essentially allows you to get to your shot faster and start your next shot faster while still being within range of getting the best possible score on the specific hole that you're playing. So here, I can hit my tee shot short, get to the ball faster, and still make a birdie, hopefully. And then when you're dashing here, it's suboptimal to just like mash the dash button if you run out of stamina between your next heart location. So what you want to do is you want to try to estimate how much stamina you'll need to dash to the next heart, and then let it run up before you start dashing. So it can be a bit tough to gauge that distance, but it's just one of the subtleties that exists in this mode, which can make it a lot of fun to route.
We talked about real life golf. When will you try speed golf in real life?
I wish I could. That would be a lot of fun. I know there's like world records for it and stuff, but my goodness. I would talk.
You're just like sprinting hundreds of yards.
Yeah, that would be a workout and a half, I'm sure. That's why you need like a tag team for it.
And then by the time you get to the ball, you actually have to swing too.
Yep.
So it's not just.
Oh man, this is rough. This weather is not forgiving at all. So I have to avoid this thundercloud again. You'll notice I'm getting a lot of pars, and yeah, I know. I tell you guys, I have world record in this game, and I have a lot of the optimal, you know, score attack records, and I've even tried my hand at some time attack records. But even so, this is an extreme challenge for me all the same. So if that encourages you to try it out, by the way, this is not a pacifist run, unfortunately. Goodbye, dude.
Oh.
Oh, I hit one with a golf ball too. Gonna prevent my birdie probably. So yeah, there is still a lot of room for improvement in the time attack world for Super Rush and world records. There are a few very, very good. I did not get rain, or I didn't get sunny on this hole, which is unfortunate. This is the hole with really intense strategy. So I could have showed it off, but I needed good luck for it. I did not get it.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. Spares me a headache at least, but it is fun to try. So these lily pads would actually change where they change placement based on the weather. And if it's sunny, there is no clear way across except for using the bridges on each side of the course. But the lily pads are still there, so what you do is you use your special dash to actually jump over the water to them. And it's pretty fun. The world record actually does it right now for all courses, time attack. And on the YouTube video, I have a timestamp just to show you guys that routing for it, because it's pretty much the most difficult thing in time attack runs. It's on this course. Besides just, you know, playing well.
And are you Blue Candy everywhere, so on YouTube as well?
Yes, Blue Candy on YouTube. You'll find me if you search Blue Candy on Twitter as well, even though I couldn't, you know, that handle was taken a decade ago almost. Unfortunately.
How dare that other Blue Candy?
Yeah, I know. Alright, that's rough luck, but I think it's actually gonna work out. I can never get that hard. See, there's so many things, like if you could cut corner and not fall in the water there's a lot of potential you could do with this this run. And then you also have to make the green. This course I wanted to show off in particular because it's actually really tough to make a lot of the par 5 eagles. You have to have pretty much perfect shots, and I utilized my special shot to even have an opportunity to get an eagle this time. So it's you know, compared to Superstar Bowser just hitting all the eagles that I could possibly get earlier on, now it's standard Bowser, a much more humble approach to blasting through these courses in record time. And as a result, there are a lot more barriers to getting the perfect run, essentially. That's a risky shot. You can see I'm doing punch shots again, but because I have so few clubs, most of my punch shots are actually going to end up being the driver. So there I waited a bit. It's pretty frequent in time attack that, especially on like the rookie course, that you reach the green, especially on par 3s, before your shot stops rolling. And if the dude is saying nice on, you can't like attach to your ball. Like you won't just start your next shot by running into it. You have to wait until the shot ends, essentially, and it only ends once the dude has stopped talking about it. So I wait a bit there to special dash, just so that I don't accidentally go past it and, you know, run off the side of the green. Yep, just another instance of bad luck here. Trying to go for the perfect eagle can be a bit rough. Pun intended. Nice. Good chip-ins, though, this round. I'm liking it. We're bringing it back.
Yeah, nicely done.
I've eagled all the par 5s. That's pretty cool. Ooh, I don't even know what I want to do here. This is so brutal. Okay, nice, nice. I believe the world record for Wild Weather Woods is currently the least contested one for time attack. Most other records and courses, if you're curious to compare against your own save files, sit at about 35 minutes, besides New Donk City. And Wild Weather Woods is currently at 37 minutes for runs submitted on the leaderboard. So if you wanted to compete for a world record, this is probably the one that has the most potential as it stands.
You heard that, Chad?
Yeah, I'm giving you guys an incentive here.
Yeah.
So sometimes playing time attack with these single impact zones is like playing a game of pool, where you have to know your angles really well in order to, okay, nice. In order to get it to, you know, wrap around some obstacles like that tree. Oh, so close. Chipping is pretty tough in this game, all things considered, but there is an art to chipping, and usually it's not using super backspin, despite your potential want to stop the ball exactly where you want it. You have to let it roll some in order to increase your chances at a chip-in. I like the grunt that Bowser gives when he gets the worst possible shot. He's so upset with it.
I mean, I would be too if I hit a bad shot and then I just had to sprint over to the ball like Bowser's doing
Yeah.
right now.
You're forced to face your demise the whole time that you're running to it. Okay, so as a reminder, after I finish this round of speed golf, which is, I mean, it's not going exceptionally well, but this is a very tough thing to do. And if you can putt like that, I mean, you got a real chance at it.
Yeah.
Make him spin around some. After this, I will show you guys the pro layout of the new Donk City course, which you can access by using Star and Superstar characters. And then, afterwards, I want to show you guys something centered around accessibility in speedrunning, which is the fact that you can speedrun this game very effectively and efficiently with one hand. So if you're interested in that, make sure you stick around and see some of the one-hand strategies that work well with this game. I will note that most of it is actually not this category of the game, but it's rather it's a standard golf that works best with one-handed gameplay, as in this game you have to press L constantly. But if you have a Joy-Con, you could potentially do it all the same. You just have to shift focus or remap some buttons to be able to do your special dashes. But I will be showing off how standard golf works with only one hand. If you're excited for that, make sure you stick around.
Yeah, and everyone be sure to stick around because we have a whole other show after this too.
Wow.
ADEP hosts Challenger approaching.
Nice.
So we're going to be having Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories on.
I missed the heart. I don't even know how that happened.
Oh no.
All right, we'll just mosey on over here. Bowser's enjoying the course and the music.
Yeah. This is actually just more chance for us to listen to this wonderful music on this course.
Yes. Don't hit the dude. Oh my goodness. What is he doing there? Alright, so I saved my special shot for this hole, even though I can't even make the green with it because it's such a long par 5. But it allows me to have a much greater chance at least chipping in for the eagle. And again, you'll see me switch to the long putter on basically every putt here, even the shortest ones, because as the timer increases per second, it's much faster to do long putts that will just smash the pin and go in, because they move a lot faster on the green. So that's another part of the time attack strategy. I actually have no idea what to do here, so I'm just gonna try it. All right. One thing I didn't want to do is jump over that. And when you get good at this this mode of the game, you'll be able to gauge, like, you know, how far Bowser's gonna jump when you do a special shot so that you don't end up jumping over the hearts and such.
Nice birdie.
All right, let's see if I can get a sub 40-minute time here. I think I've got it. That's a pretty good run. All right, so we got that left miss it. Not the worst thing in the world, actually, because it means my shot is going to go further than it otherwise would have. It almost made it out of the rough, too, which would be incredible for this hole. And you'll notice that I am avoiding running in the rough sometimes because you actually do run a lot slower through hazards.
They're like exceptionally slow.
Yeah, yeah.
Good thing Bowser's pretty tall, you know. He can usually get through some grass, no problem.
Yeah.
Come on, Bowser.
I don't know what's up with him. All right, last rain pot. Oh, I suck it too hard. All right, but still sub 40.
Nice par.
Yeah, nicely done.
All right, very good.
Just over 16 minutes real time.
Yeah, yeah. Perfect 16, really? Nice.
No, just over.
Just over. Okay. All right, yeah. A good RTA time is right around 16 minutes for a speed golf course. So that's nice. All right, we got the fanfare. Next, I will show you guys the new Donk City Pro layout. We'll be going back to Pauline again. Let me know when you're... Oops, not in speed golf, though. I'm going to do it in standard golf. Let me know when you're ready on the timer there.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Already ready? Okay, cool. All right, so
Yeah.
I'll start that in... oh, gosh. I have to time this. Hold on, I'm going to restart from the first hole so I have a better...
Oh, yeah.
Sense of the
Not a
timer,
problem.
yeah.
This gives chat the opportunity to follow twitch.tv/bluecandy.
Ready?
All right. So, the gist of New Donk City Pro layout is you're using the star or superstar characters such that you have more impact zones to work with, and that allows you to curve your shots around buildings, which is exactly what you're going to have to do. And if you were to play this in speed golf, you'd have fire hydrants and various obstacles that will push your character and ball around, and also like speed panels and jump panels. So it's a pretty fun speed golf course. World records for those are also slightly unoptimized as it stands, so you could pick one up there. But I'll be playing the standard golf here. The gist of the course, again, is not only the more difficult tee shots, but the greens are also much more difficult. They're very much more sloped and in all sorts of different arrangements. So I will give you a countdown now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ready?
Good luck.
Thank you. So if you're wondering, the way we time score attack runs like this one is from the fade in of the screen, which is why my countdown is a little offbeat there. And special shots are a little bit more difficult to use, but if I do this, a very subtle tap to the left there, then I should miss the flag entirely, but, oh, it's because the wind was the opposite way. There is a really fun strategy on this hole. If you read the wind direction, you can see which way the flag is pointing. I just totally forgot to do that because I was thinking about explaining it. But what happens there is if you play that wood shot, you're basically guaranteed a chip in flag shot hole in one by using the special shot like that. So it's very exciting if you can get it to work. And I am currently getting owned by this course. As you can tell, it's very difficult. All right, so new Donk City Pro layout. That's pretty much the only chance I'm gonna get at sinking a special shot, actually. So I have to be really careful now and make a bunch of chip-ins because my wind is really strong. Oh, barely sunk that one.
Nice.
Every time you start a course, like I said, the course keeps the iteration of wind, so the wind speeds are always gonna be the same. But what Solo Challenge does is it can give you a random subset of wind speeds. And when you start seeing like 11 miles per hour on every hole on the current iteration of the course that you're playing, it could mean that you have a much stronger subset of wind speeds to work with. I don't know why I moved that. Okay. These are very difficult special shots though. They're basically frame perfect, and if you mess them up, something like that will happen. Man, I am just barely getting these chip-ins.
Nice birdie.
So as you can...
But you're getting
Yeah,
them.
yeah, that's the good part. Well, sometimes I'm getting. Okay, so this one is exceptionally difficult, especially in the rain. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do there. So as you can tell, Pauline is standing sideways, and these, this definitely will present you a very difficult grind if you would like to try to get a good personal best on a course like this. Have some amazing crosswind here that I'm not used to playing. I'm on the fringe too, which I've never been on the fringe on this hole. This is like all sorts of things that have never happened to me before, and they're happening.
Something.
Yep.
That's never happened before.
Exactly. They're all happening to me right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is fun. Okay. Oh, don't roll off. Okay. We're keeping it alive. My goodness. And if you can believe it, the record for this that I've done, I have managed a 22 under on this,
Wow.
the layout of this course in just under 5 minutes.
Nice on.
Man. But it is just not kind to me right now, that's for sure.
Nice birdie.
Yeah, so any hole that's like even with the tee, there's not a drastic change in elevation is where you're going to want to try to use those special shots, but as you can see in this case, they don't always work out in your favor. They are very much frame perfect, so this presents a tough challenge to optimize. And that's why it is difficult for everyone, not just professional speedrunners or casual players.
Excellent. Birdie.
I would be happy with a score of like -12, like average. So the 22 under run, I'm very happy with, and I don't plan on challenging it anytime soon unless someone were to come out of nowhere and beat it.
Nice on.
All right, chat. I believe in you.
Birdie.
If you can't tell, I'm all about world record competition. All right, last few holes of new Donk City Pro layout. They're no slouch. I'm doing most of my shots here. You can see I'm only doing the impact on the last section before the shot ends. And when I drop it like that with the down arrows, I'm decreasing the loft and thus the carry of the shot. Those are called sinker shots, and they help control distance a lot more than just letting it go. So here I'm gonna chip in. I was hoping to do a trick shot here where you just kind of you let it roll down the green here and back in for a hole-in-one. I actually did that in the new Donk Pro record, which is pretty cool. So I always go for that
cool.
chip in, or that little
Nice on.
can't even remember what it's called. This the pro shot.
Nice birdie.
All right. This hole is exceptionally uphill. So I'm gonna hit to the edge of the green icon here, get a flag shot, and roll off the green because that's exactly what I was trying to do, by the way. It's okay, we just make our chip-ins. Chips, by the way, are very, very heavily affected by wind compared to other shots. So that's one little thing you have to learn about speedrunning this game. If you want to go for the chip-ins, you have to be really good at reading the wind for those short chips.
Nice on.
All right, and time will be... not now. Time will be now instead. It's okay.
Nicely
Hopefully I
done.
didn't fake you out there.
I think that was... It was either like right before 6 or right after 6 minutes.
Yeah, so shaving a minute off that is very difficult, as you can tell. Trick shot, yeah, that's it. Couldn't even remember the word in the moment, I'm too excited. All right, so that was a demonstration of Camelot's new Donk City Pro course meant to torture us. Very good. And then one last thing I want to show you guys now, centered on the theme of accessibility, is how to speedrun this game with one hand. So for the entire round of this course, which I am going to show you Ridge Rock Lake, a course of intermediate difficulty, and thus you can extrapolate how a one-handed speedrun would work from there for the easier and the more difficult courses. I'll show you Ridge Rock Lake. I'll keep my left hand behind my head. This looks like my right, but webcam's flip. I'll keep it behind my neck for the whole time so you can tell that I'm doing it one-handed. And so I will show you guys how you can do it. Again, I'm using a GameCube controller with my right hand, so I have to... This is even more difficult than, you know, using a single Joy-Con per se if you were going to attempt to do one-handed speedruns of this. So the GameCube controller requires me to do some claw grips and switching my hand over from control stick to button press, but because of how the shot mechanics work in this game, it is very accessible, unlike previous Mario Golf games, to one-handed speedrunning. So I will go ahead and show you that. If you're ready on the time, we could just start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, good luck.
Thank you. All right, so the theme of this is that I have to rely a little bit more on my knowledge because I'm not going to be pressing X to view the hole and the pin location overhead very often, unless I accidentally press it like that. So I'll be switching between moving my shot, moving my putt, depending on how I need to move it, and then pressing Y, A, and B to, you know, actually perform my shot. And the beauty of this is that we get to switch clubs and then, you know, move our hand over to press A and do the shot and the spin, and then we can move it back to shape the shot while the bar is rising a second time. So I'm going to be trying to do mostly the same route I would do with two hands, but, and it will be much more difficult. Special shots can be a little bit difficult to set up because I have to press the L button and aim. Sort of like that. I think this is under hit. Oh, all right, pretty good. If I'm lucky, I might end up doing a better Ridge Rock Lake than I did in the all courses attempt.
You know, Chad, if you're interested in doing this too, go for it. Also, if you want to high five Blue Candy, just put your hand up to your monitor and just high five away because Blue Candy's got a hand free.
Indeed, yes. If you'd like to high five. Set myself up for an interesting position here, so I'm gonna try to make this long putt. Very good. I was focused on, you know, giving you guys a high five and then I forgot to change the way I was shaping my shot on the third impact zone of all of them, and thus I ended up in the bare ground. Normally I'm supposed to rise it at the end like I'm doing a riser shot, but instead
I'm here to throw you for a loop. That's what I'm here for. To mention high fives, it just throws your whole game.
Very good. I like the challenge.
We got a couple high five emotes in chat here. Thank you, chat.
High five, guys. Thank you. Let's go, friends.
Ready?
Nice. Very good. This is shaping up nicely. I hope I'm inspiring some of you. If there's enough interest in this, we can just go ahead and add it as a miscellaneous category itself, but anyone who is speedrunning one hand should submit to the main leaderboards and show us your skills.
Look at these wowie H's in chat.
Go.
You can get those at twitch.tv/bluecandy/subscribe.
Oh, dang. I have a lot of new Blue Dog emotes coming in soon as well, due to the generosity of the community who really enjoy watching this game, and Kirby Air Ride, and Mario Golf Toadstool Tour. Entirely different feel of a golf speedrun compared to this, but still with a lot of similarities.
What's your main speedrunning project right now, Blue Candy? What do you want?
It's changing right now as we speak, actually. I want to go back to Toadstool Tour any percent and get a sub 50-minute run in that category. It's by far my most ranked category, with 3,000 something attempts and 550 hours or something in it. It's how I started streaming. It's one of the ways that I got partnered on Twitch, and I've stuck with it for so long and optimized it so much that I would be remiss to not shave 14 seconds off of the current record and beat the last minute barrier. So that is what I'm going to shift gears to, but I'm also still playing a lot of Kirby Air Ride. Currently, world record competition could exist in that game, so I would be doing a lot of city trial speedrunning if that's your thing, or if you don't know that's your thing.
You can go check it out, see if it is.
Those are my current projects. I could also, you know, anytime this game updates, I am happy to do the new course and speedrun it in this game as well and start up a new project in that way. Really good. I haven't made a mistake so far, by the way.
Birdie. Nice birdie.
My arm's getting a little tired, but it's fine.
Ready?
You know, I am.
Chad, if you want an arm exercise,
Yeah.
just, you know,
I've only got it up.
one hand up.
I've only got it up this high to show you guys, in particular, that I am not cheating. But you know, if I'm screaming an attempt of this casually, you know, I just have it down like this, and you know, if like, but I'm making sure, deliberately showing you guys that one-handed speedrunning of this is a very good possibility. Some of these shots are pretty hard to set up, but even so. Ooh, that might be a touch over hit. Let's see. Nope, perfect frame because I can't remember what I'm doing. The chaos in this run, though, always makes it fresh and exciting. Okay. This wind could work. Nice, full power there. Frame perfect. Bad luck, though. Game wasn't gonna give it to me on a one-handed speedrun, of course. So this is one of the luck-dependent eagles that you can get, although I almost got it there. Again, if you get that left miss hit and thus get more distance on your tee shot, you can actually make it past that rock face and topspin onto the green. It's very difficult, but you could do it. So I went for it there. I go for it every time. Just like I probably should have made the green here, but... Oh, man.
Birdie.
So close.
Nice birdie.
All right. One mistake. This should be a guaranteed eagle in a perfect run, so we'll call that a mistake, but it's not like I'm outside birdie golf right now. I'm sinking the birds. Ooh. Touch over hit, though. I'm falling apart at the end here.
Birdie.
Bunch of stress.
The fatigue. It's the fatigue from the
Yeah, the fatigue.
one
I'm
arm.
focusing on my arm here. Oh, the golf bounty. Yeah, you're right. So, in line with Toadstool Tour, there is actually an existing community-funded $1,000 bounty to beat my any percent world record in Toadstool Tour. Just, I'm one of the contributors, but also other top runners and interested individuals in the game. At any moment that you beat any percent on the NTSC version of the game, community funded right there. It doesn't matter what the record is when you get it, as long as you get it. It's held strong for like a year and a half already or something like that. Or maybe a year now. I can't even remember.
So that's a challenge to everyone out there in chat, and if you're watching this from the past, from YouTube, you know, just maybe that bounty's still out there.
Yep. It just goes to show that if you're still not convinced that Mario Golf speedrunning is a real deal, essentially, we have things like that are from the community itself, just to show you that it is the real deal. Right, and time.
Nice eagle.
Sub 8. Congratulations, Blue Candy.
Sub 8 minutes with one hand.
Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah, that was better than the all courses running. Could have saved time. Dang it. Nice. So I love that about this game, that it's accessible to even more speedrunners who may be one-handed players.
Yeah, very, very cool. Do you have any shout-outs that you want to do before we close out here?
I mean, all of the golf communities that I'm a part of, actually, yes, that's a perfect idea. We are hosting a Toadstool Tour tournament, so for GameCube, if you can stream that. Emulators allowed, by the way, just in case, for accessibility, again, for speedrunning. We are hosting a tournament for newer players in that game. People who do not have a sub-hour time in the any percent speedrun are welcome to join that. It will be hosted on, I can't remember which service is hosting it. I think Speedrunning or Speed Gaming, whichever it is. But you can join the Toadstool Tour Discord, which you can find on speedrun.com as well, /MGTT for Toadstool Tour. So if you're interested in golf speedrunning and this isn't exactly your style, maybe Toadstool Tour is more up your alley and you are able to play it in any of the ways that are accepted on the leaderboards, including emulation. And then for Super Rush, well, just like always, I'm looking to see a lot more people start speedrunning this. I wanted to showcase it at Hotfix, thanks to Richard again for allowing me on for testing grounds, such that I can pique people's interests and also give a demonstration that a race of all courses may be something super exciting and something to look forward to at a main GDQ event. So yeah,
All right.
that's all I got.
Well, thank you very much, Blue Candy, for being on. I appreciate you being on tonight for Testing Grounds. That is it for Testing Grounds for tonight, but we do have Challenger approaching. That's going to be coming up right after a short break, so I just want to thank everyone for sticking around, and if you like Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, be sure to stay tuned after the break. Have a good night, everyone, and take care.
Thank you for watching.